Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. We are live on YouTube and Twitch, hopefully, at the same time. I'm Pete the Games Master, and I have with me...
Oh, me.
Yes.
Me first.
Yeah.
I'm
picture
Kevin.
order.
I'm Kevin, and I've been in Pete's games before. I was in Flint and Steel for a season and a bit, and I was in another Planescape game
that we don't talk about.
Back. It was like a pub play, I think, but I think it's still on the channel somewhere. Yeah, and I'm gonna be playing. Do you want me to tell you what I'm playing on this one?
We'll go through characters brief in a bit.
Okay, well, I'm Ben, and I am far away. I was in Flint and Steel Season 1, and those of you who are regular viewers may have noticed the return of a certain halfling in the very last bit of Season 2.
Yep.
So we'll have to see what we can do about that.
Yep.
I also did some Starfinder on the game and a bit on the channel and Traveller.
Yep. Cool.
Did I do anything else? Did we do anything else? I don't think I've done any other games on the channel.
No, not on the channel. But we've all been playing together for quite a while.
Many moons.
Many moons. Cool. Okay. Well, I thought before we get into the characters, I would just do our standard little blurb quickly, and then I'd talk a little bit about Planescape for any of our viewers who don't really know much about it. Obviously, we're going to be playing D&D 5th edition, so this is like an update. But this was a 2nd edition setting, so I may go into it in a bit of detail. But before I do, please don't forget to go and check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have a Discord with a growing community. We've got lots of people on there talking about maps, running games. We're starting to talk about a bit of tabletop battles as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there. There's the Map Chat crew, which is a hashtag on Twitter that you can go and check out, who hang out in our It's a Map channel. And Ben has got a world building channel going on over there that we're going to get some interesting scenes and locations created. So that's pretty cool. We also have a Patreon. All the lovely people who support us help us to pay for all of our kit and equipment in the studio, but all of our hosting for our channels, the podcast, all those things. So thank you very much to those of you who do support us. Please do consider supporting the channel if you don't. We also have stuff on Redbubble and DriveThruRPG. If you go to any of our other videos over on YouTube, you can see there's a whole list of links below, and I will be adding that after this live broadcast on YouTube to that video as well. Also, go and check out our other shows over on YouTube or on the podcast. We've got, as the guys mentioned, Flint and Steel, which is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. We've got Vostok's Chance, which is a Scion RPG, sort of set in 1998 in a TV game show that's a mashup between American Gods and Running Man. And the last episode was called Go Power Scions. So you can imagine the kind of game that it is. We also have a Star Trek game, Star Trek Morpheus, which is set in the future of the Prime timeline, aboard the Enterprise G. And I play Griot Tovon, the Cardassian science officer, which is a lot of fun. So, yes, we've got loads of other shows. We've got older ones as well, which have poorer video and sound quality. That has got better thanks to our patrons over the last couple of years. Anything else? No, don't think so. So, without further ado, I will talk a little bit about Planescape. So, I've just noticed that Roger has said that he misses both of you, which is very sweet of him.
He is lying. He is lying through his beardy face.
His beardy face. Kazook! Roger, who's watching right now, is plays Bagric on Flint and Steel.
Much loved.
He is the secret star of Flint and Steel so far. Although Alvin is
I don't know what we call him a secret star.
Oh no, it's not secret, is it? He's got a GIF and everything. Anyway, So, Planescape is a very interesting, cool setting that was released for 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a little whistle-stop tour for the multiverse quickly. I don't want to take up too much time, and also I don't want to get anything wrong. So please be kind, viewers, and I will try and get it all right. We've had a comment on Twitch. Big up the Crosley. So one of Ben's fans watching, it must be. So Planescape is what it sounds like. It's about all the planes of existence. So it's about the multiverse and adventuring across all of those realms that are kind of suggested at and hinted to in a lot of the other settings of Dungeons and Dragons. The 5th edition has made a few changes to the cosmos and the multiverse. And for our adventures in the Planescape setting, I'll be undoing those changes and reverting to the 2nd edition cosmology, because that makes it simpler. I can get one source of information and I can stick to that without having to sort of refer backwards and forwards and what's been swapped out. But what we have, let me see if I can do this in a way that doesn't... two caveats before we start. One, my son is asleep and my wife is out. So if he wakes up, I have to go and sort it out, and then we have a pause. Two, this is like the first time I've properly used Roll20. So be kind. And here we go. We've got the right thing there, and we move that to the back. So this is a very cool illustration of the multiverse in Planescape. What we have in the top right is the prime material plane. Now, this is a series of worlds that you are probably very familiar with, such as Faerun in Forgotten Realms. I should say Toril, because Faerun is just the continent on the world of Toril. You've got Kryn, you've got Athas for Dark Sun, you've got all of these things. So it is a series of worlds that are encased in crystal spheres, and they are all together in this kind of sort of amalgam of all these crystal worlds. Right, so my players are telling me they can't see my overlay. I must have put it in. No, it says map layer. Can you not see it?
Oh no, I cannot.
Oh,
You may have to reveal it to us.
I
Just got a lovely picture of the Lady of Pain, smiling happily.
I've moved that one to the back, and I brought that one to the front. Can you see it now?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll carry on for a bit anyway, because we're going to skip through these, and then it's not for you guys.
I thought you were putting it as an overlay on the stream.
No, it's actually in Roll20. Here we go. So there's our first interesting moment on the show. Anyway, so guys, don't worry. Trust me. You will have seen this. This is one of the old fold-out maps from the old box set, which has got all the crystal spheres, which is where the prime material plane is, and all of the worlds that everyone knows and loves resides. Now, what you have is you have a series of the inner planes, which link to all of those, which are the elemental planes of existence. So you've got earth, fire, water, and air. But
the meta elementals and quasi elementals, those are the best ones.
Exactly. You have dust, vacuum, lightning, mineral, and all these kinds of things. You also have the positive and negative planes. So these are the things, they're kind of the building blocks for existence. It's all in the inner planes. So you've got positive and negative. So you've got life and unlife, death, undead, that kind of thing. And then you've got the other elements that are the building blocks for everything else. The ethereal plane connects the inner planes to the prime material worlds, and this is a ghostly realm. That pretty much sums it up. You can kind of move through there. It's kind of looks similar to the world that you're in when you're on the prime material world. The inner planes are interesting because there is a bit of a crossover between them. So the elemental plane of fire can be reached from the elemental plane of Earth, going via the magma realm. So there's kind of these interesting branches that go between them, and travel between the planes is obviously a massively important part of this whole setting, because the whole idea is that you guys will be going across different worlds, different realms, and it's kind of that kind of weird, wonderful nature of exploration of the multiverse that really draws people to Planescape. So the inner planes are over there, and as you might imagine, it's full of elemental creatures. The fire plane has the Jinn living on it. The Aarakocra come from the air plane because they're birds. So there's all that kind of those kind of residents of those realms. Then you have the astral plane, which reaches out towards the outer planes, which is where a lot of the shenanigans go on. The astral plane itself is a large silvery void with strange colour pools, conduits, and floating corpses of dead gods, which is an interesting realm. And conduits unpredictably or predictably stretch from the prime material plane to various places on the outer planes and the outlands, and sometimes Sigil itself, and I'll come on to Sigil in a little bit. Now this is leads down to the Great Ring, the Great Wheel, the Great Road. There's various different names for it. This is the span of the different planes of existence around the central hub of the Outlands. So as you can see, there's a number 17 in the middle there. That is where the Outlands are. This is the infinitely tall spire upon which Sigil sits. There's a lot of infinite things inside infinite things, or on top of infinite things in this setting, so you kind of have to get your head a little bit around this. So there are lots of different planes of existence, and what this represents as well is the wheel of alignment in D&D setting. Now, if there was any setting where alignment was fundamental and not just something that people kind of argue about or say, I'm chaotic neutral all the time, this is the setting for it. What you have at the top here are the good realms. Around here you have the lawful realms, whether they're good or evil. You have the evil realms down here, and then you have the you can see my mouse pointer on the screen. That's good. And you have the chaotic realms off to the right. Things like Pandemonium and Limbo, where the very fabric of the world around you can change with your thought, or other people can change around you as well. You have over here, you see these large cogs moving around near number 1. That is the plane of Mechanus. That is the lawful neutral plane of existence, where robotic-like creatures called the Modrons live on these cogs and are very interested in understanding all the rules that govern all the other realms of existence. You've got Acheron, where there are giant iron cubes falling through an infinite void. And these giant cubes have castles and armies and fortifications on them, and it is a plane of constant battle as these things hurtle towards each other. You also have things like the Abyss, Carcerai, Hell, basically, where you really don't want to go. There is a constant war going on between all of these planes of existence. It's called the Blood War, and that's recently referenced in Modern Canaan, one of the two. Tome of, I've got it here somewhere. Modern Canaan's Tome of Foes. That was referenced in there, where the lawful evil devils are fighting the chaotic evil demons, and their constant stalemate is the only thing that keeps the whole multiverse from falling into one of their realms. Oh yes, there you go. Horrible war. Yeah, you've got like bearded devils and Yugoloths fighting lemures and other things. So there's this constant battle. Now, let's have a look. They're all centered around this thing. Obviously, they don't look like this in wedges around a central circle. They're all infinite in their own nature. They all overlap. They all intersect at different places. There are portals from one to the other. You can see here Yggdrasil. The world ash spreads through them. There is River Styx that flows through there, River Oceanus, which connects the good planes. You have the infinite staircase that comes out of Asgard, which is appropriate for tonight, and goes up through all of the planes where creativity exists. So these kind of concepts, philosophies and things are really important and central to Planescape, and hopefully we can explore some of those things. So what I'm going to do now, sorry guys, you probably can't see this, but our viewers can, because I can see it on the other computer over here that's showing me the stream. Let's move that to the... Oh, hello. There we go. Right. So this is the Outlands. Now, the Outlands is the kind of neutral territory around the spire, the infinite spire upon which Sigil sits, which you can see right at the top, the little donut right at the top. Talk about Sigil in a minute. Around the edge of the Outlands, and it's not really the edge because it doesn't look like it drops off like a cake, as this does, with really horrible icing around the abyss and stuff like that. There are the gate towns, and there's one for each plane, and these towns are almost ready to slip into that plane. Once you believe the same beliefs as those in another place, or those that you've changed the perception of people in an area. If you convince the hearts and minds of people that they should be lawful evil and follow these certain rules and things, they'll slip into Acheron, and literally physically a part of the Outlands will slide and change and wither and disappear and become more militant, and soldiers will appear and all kinds of stuff. So you can literally, if you convince a town that a certain thing is true, then you will change existence for them. So there's some really cool stuff that can happen in Planescape, which is one of the reasons I really love this setting. So each of these gate towns are around the edge, and they kind of deliberately keep themselves not fully in with the plane, so that there is a way for people and travellers to get to that plane. The gates in these towns, the big central gates, are always open, and you can see the other plane through them, which isn't always the case. Lots of portals are shimmery or reflective, or you can't see what's through them, you just see beyond them, but if you walk through them, they will take you somewhere else. So there are gates and portals in each of these towns that take you out to the planes of existence. And you can see them dotted around the outside there. And one important one for us is Glorium, which is over here in a nice mountainous area, because that's the gate town to Asgard. And as you can imagine, Asgard is a chaotic good / chaotic neutral plane of existence, leaning more on the chaotic good. And it is a world of constant battle, but battle for joy and glory and furthering your physical capabilities. It is a place of struggle and Scandinavian beliefs. You need to... Oh, sorry. Someone's just given me a little bit of help here. You'll need to move the red player ribbon to the map page for them to see. The red ribbon to the map page. Ah. Aha! Can you see it? Yes!
Yes.
Thank you, Smoobly Moobs. That's wicked.
Smoobly Moobs!
Smoobly Moobs.
Mostly because
He's one of mine.
Cheers.
Sorry.
No,
he's a
thank
useful
you.
chap to have around.
Yes, thank you.
We need to rearrange the furniture in my conservatory.
Any other Roll20 advice? That's great. Thank you, Smoobly Moobs. That is brilliant.
There's a Kieran Nogue in the middle of this. That's great.
Yeah, so one thing you'll see and experience in this is that all of the mythologies of Earth are in here as well. So Odin, for example, is in here because Asgard, one of the realms of Asgard, is called Asgard, where all the Norse mythology live. There are some of the Egyptians in there. There's obviously we've got some Irish stuff and Celtic and Gaelic and all that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of that stuff dotted throughout this, as well as Pelor and Torm and Tyr and all your
Tyr, who's also Norse, but also Faerun.
But yeah, so it's a cool name.
Cool name.
Cool. So that's the Outlands.
Cool.
He is a cool god. That's the Outlands, and as you travel around it, the areas near the gate town start to reflect a little bit of the plane that you're heading towards, but not fully. So Glorium is sort of more mountainous. There's a bit, snow on the mountains, that kind of thing. And Glorium is a place of revelry, mead, fighting, and generally debauchery and Viking way of life. So, and that's why it's called Glorium. So that's the kind of example. If you go to Automata, over by Mechanus, that's a place of rigid rules and stricture. You've got to obey the curfew, but it's not strict, and it's laid out in a grid and all that kind of thing. So these things reflect a bit of the plane that you would go onto. Anyway.
Compulsory robot dancing.
Indeed.
At all times.
So Sigil sits on top of the spire, and Sigil is called the City of Doors. It is the centre of the multiverse. Although if the multiverse is infinite in every direction, then surely every point of it is the centre, much as the Sensates, the sign of one? I can't remember. One of the factions. Sigil has a set of factions. There are 15 factions, and they reflect a lot of the beliefs of the planes. They themselves hold power in a balance in Sigil, which is ultimately governed over by the Lady of Pain, which is that face symbol that you can see up in the top right-hand corner. She never speaks. She is a gargantuan robed woman with a face with blades in a kind of fan around it. And basically, if you see her, you're dead. Well, you're not dead, but she can kill with a look. She can tear the flesh from your bones, or even worse, she can consign you to one of her mazes, which are deep within the bowels of Sigil, and drive people insane for eternity. So that's
Sensates and Signers are separate factions.
Oh, sorry, I've got the book right here. I could just I've got the Factols Manifesto. Yeah. So
Sensates are the universe is meant to be explored and eat everything, drink everything, play with everything. And Sign of One is I create the universe because I'm the only thing in it.
Exactly, that's the one. So it's the Sign of One. Yeah.
Descartes minus a step.
Yeah. So
I think, therefore, you are.
I think therefore I am, but just doesn't attribute God to it. Just makes himself a god. Well, that works.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So. Where were we? Yeah, Sigil, each of these factions has a home plane that they often have a secondary base or a primary base in, and they are trying to slowly take control of the city without the Lady of Pain getting pissed off, turning up and destroying your looking at them. Well, it says that her shadow will tear the flesh, will flay the flesh from your bones. So you don't want to be caught in her shadow, for one. So she is
she's gargantuan.
She is gargantuan, yeah. So that's like a whole building. It's like
people just running around the town going, avoid the shadow, avoid the shadow.
Absolutely. And our story's not going to start in Sigil because we're going to be concerned with the plane of Asgard for the beginning. So I'm going to save more detailed stuff about Sigil to another broadcast or episode. I'm thinking maybe doing some short episodes about the setting in general. Here we go. Let's move that one back. So, Asgard. Asgard is a very interesting realm. It has 3 layers, and this is a depiction of the first layer. It is a giant ocean, not always watery, mostly watery, with floating earthbergs moving through it, the underneath of which are magma, molten rock, and intense heat, and the top of which are habitable, sometimes icy. If you look at Jotunheim there in the middle, you can see that that's a fairly icy place. They're not all icy though. Some of them are, warm some parts of the year. It's one of the few planes that has seasons, like the prime material plane, mainly because the Norse pantheon are quite nostalgic, I think is the word. They like they like some of the prime material planes that they went to. You know, the changing of the seasons, it gets cold sometimes. That's a test. That's another test. That's more struggle. And the real theme of Asgard is the struggle. Now, there are 3 types of people generally in the multiverse. You have primes, planners, and planars, if you're spelling it, and petitioners. Now, primes are people from a prime material world. They are often referred to as the clueless or Burks. They know not much about anything, and often when they turn up in another plane of existence, they just sort of stand there going, oh, 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 for, you know, a couple of days. They can't really comprehend it. The planners are those who are from the planes, the planars. And they are people like Kevin and Ben's characters, which we'll get to in a moment. Don't worry, guys. We will get to some role-playing at some point tonight. It won't just be me talking for 3 hours. And they know about the ways between the worlds. They know about portals. They know about the Lady of Pain. They know about the factions, all of those things. And then there are the petitioners. And petitioners are, in effect, all those who have died on the prime material or elsewhere. When they die, they go to heaven, and their heaven is their own heaven, and it's one of the planes. Consequently, the gods live here as well. So that means that you can literally go and meet Odin in his giant hall in Asgard and have a beer with him. It's not as easy as that, but the gods are manifest, and because of this, they're actually often referred to as the powers rather than gods, because there are some creatures that are so powerful that they could challenge a god, but they don't claim to be gods. So they kind of all get bucketed into this kind of term of powers.
Now, there's some people as well that say the gods aren't real. They're just very, very powerful people who
Indeed.
are calling themselves gods.
The Athar, one of the factions of Sigil, they are the Defiers and the Lost. They believe gods are frauds, the unknowable truth lies beyond the veil. And then there are others as well who say, oh, hey, we can all be gods. Hey, I mean, they're just powerful beings. We all get more powerful as we learn things, and one day you can be a god too. So let's do that.
It'd be pretty hardcore to be an atheist in front of a god, though.
Absolutely. That's why you don't fuck with the Athar. Anyway, so be right back. Okay, Kevin's stepping away for a moment. This is the bit that he might want to know about. So Asgard is a very interesting world. I'm just going to get my PDF going here so I can get the actual information. One of the cool things is that there are long ships and dragon boats that go between all of these earthbergs. So there are kind of people piloting these vessels around, and as you can imagine, these magma undercurrents create great sort of thermals and swirls, and it makes sort of navigating between them very dangerous and lots of fun for Asgardians, because they love that kind of thing. And bear in mind, if you're a petitioner and you die, you come back because you're already in heaven. So the good thing about petitioners in Asgard is they just all go and fight every day. They get up in the morning and they're like, right, we're off to war. They go and have a good old ruck. If they die, they die. If not, they get up the next day and they go again. So it's quite fun. Einherjar, yes. They are some of the leaders, as with the Valkyries. They are some of the leaders of the Norse. Oh, Kevin's come back on and then run away again. So you've got a mixture of people who can never die because they are in the afterlife. You have those moving about, the primes, who know very little or have suddenly appeared here and are very confused. And then you have the planars, or however you want to say it. Ben, how do you say it?
I say planars.
Planars.
Because planners makes it sound like something to write notes in.
Yeah, or like what I actually do for a job in real life. Planars, the planars. Da, da, da. The planars, they know that if they die, they will come back as petitioners, but wherever their heaven is. So maybe not the same place. So, and also, once you're a petitioner, you really don't want to do anything else. You don't really care about any other plane. You're in the place that you want to be. This is like the ultimate location, so you stay there, you do what you do, you trade and you do stuff and you meet planars and you meet primes, and you're not like some mindless idiot, but you are.
I have a question.
Yes.
You're saying they go to heaven. Do they go to heaven regardless of the life they're bed or whatever, or is it like if they believe they deserve to go to heaven, they will go to heaven, or
it's based on their alignment and their activities rather than what they might convince themselves? So if you're a complete arsehole and you torture people, you go to Carcerai, which is a giant prison that's like a kind of weird onion-skinned tube with multiple levels within that you will just slowly work your way down, getting more and more tortured all the way. Which,
unless you're really, really good at torturing people, in which case
you got a job.
Good job, yeah. So it becomes your heaven.
Absolutely. So Asgard is a place of revelry, battle, joy, death, rebirth every day. People are doing their best to kick the living shit out of each other, but they are all enjoying it. Both sides, they're coming together for battle, and it's enjoyable. It's like exercise to them.
Have a beer
into battle, and then you sit down and have a beer with the guy that you killed earlier.
Yeah, the next day probably, because they come back the next day. But Valhalla is a place you can go to, and that's where petitioners first appear. And then they have drinks and they feast, and then they kind of learn the rules of everything, and then they go off and then they start fighting people and they go and hang out in other places. So it's great fun. This is one of the things I love about Planescape. There's just so much in one.
It's like the starter area of an MMO. Everyone kicks the shit out of each other, doesn't really know what's going on.
Well, that
killed a lot.
That is very true. Right, sorry, I'm just getting to my. You can probably see a glow on my face. I'm just getting to. Here's going to be if you are looking for a friendly brawl for eternity. Fat ass Frodo, you're absolutely right. Asgard is the place to be if you're looking for a friendly brawl for eternity. Spot on. Right. Hang on. Right. So, this might be a good idea. Kevin, why don't you tell us about your character?
Okay. So, my character is a bit weird for coming from Asgard, which is deliberate. He's a dwarven warlock called Yotu Nifran, which
I think you mean a dwarlock.
A dwarlock, yeah, dwarlock. So the basic story behind him, I won't tell you too much, but the basic story behind him is that an extremely traumatic event, which should probably be about 2 decades back in his life, so not very long for a dwarf, but a reasonably long time to have gotten used to things. Extremely traumatic event happened that involved him betraying someone very close to him over something he shouldn't have betrayed someone over, which he still has. And in doing so, he kind of broke his brain and touched the mind of a great old one, which is why he wanted to leave Asgard, because he could no longer stay there, kind of living with... He still wants to leave, hasn't left yet. I assume we haven't left yet, right?
Now you are in Asgard.
Yeah. Wants to leave because he has touched this darker power. So I guess chaotic, neutral / evil.
Okay.
Not necessarily evil, but he's got a
dark twinge.
Well, he's got an impetus to find knowledge. Thinking of this old one's character, he doesn't know what his name is, but the character of this old one, its character rather than his, is somewhere between. And I realize these are Daedric princes from Elder Scrolls, somewhere between Hermaeus Mora and Sheogorath. So like madness and knowledge.
Okay. Yeah, one leads to the other, doesn't it?
A lot of like poke the thing to see what happens sort of situation, and if suffering ensues, okay, but not deliberate, seeking pain necessarily. Yeah.
Cool.
So trying to leave Asgard to absorb more knowledge for his patron.
Well, one of the things you will know, and everyone knows, is that the infinite staircase. The beginning steps of the infinite staircase are found in Asgard on the first level, on the first layer. Now, being a dwarf from Asgard, you have travelled up from one of the lower levels, which I will find the name of shortly. But you have got in the acquaintance of a Bardbarian who is a bit of a crazy adventurer, I am imagining, but we'll get onto Ben's character in a minute. You know that the infinite staircase leads everywhere and anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you can find, it's like, in Labyrinth, the bit with the stairs, it's like that, but not as packed in. It's kind of like weird darkness with staircases going through it in kind of odd ways. And there are lots of landings, and every landing has a door that leads to another realm. And that landing sort of tells you a little bit about what might be going on beyond it. But there are people traveling the staircase. Some people get lost. They don't know the keys or how to get through the doors. But you've heard of this. There's obviously the gate town that you could go out through. So there's that option as well. But the infinite staircase is in Asgard.
And the other thing is that the people who I knew from before think that I'm dead, along with about 20 other people. They're all dead, but that's probably relevant.
Cool. Okay. So they think you're dead.
Something happened down in the deeps of a mine.
Okay.
I was involved. I didn't kill them all, though.
Not all of them.
Promise.
Just most of them.
Hardly any of them.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Right. Ben, do you want to give us a rundown of your character, please?
Yes. Okay. I will be playing an Aasimar, which is like the angelic equivalent of a tiefling in the main rulebook. For those of you who do know,
we're gonna get along great.
Oh, it'll be fun! So the Aasimar are sort of god-touched, celestial heritaged folk. My character's parents, both normal humans living on Asgard, had no idea that there was any celestial blood in there, and then boom, they got this glowing baby with eyes that light up. So they freaked out, dumped him on the steps of the Temple of Odin, where he grew up, trained as a bard to remember stories and lore and knowledge. I'm not seeing him as a sort of musical, lute-plucking, twiddly-diddly, Greensleeves kind of bard, but I'm more sort of saga-telling, banging a quarterstaff on the floor and
like a skull
reciting.
Kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wicked.
Well, that's where I got the name as well, the Volker Skald. Quite literally the people's bard.
Cool.
And so he did that for a while, but was a little bit bored. He would see all these people going off to fight, decided that actually that looked like a bit of a laugh, went out to fight, completely lost his marbles doing it, went nuts, discovered the barbarian rage, went, actually, you know what, this is kind of cool. But there's not a lot of point in fighting on Asgard, because you fight on Asgard, you get up again the next day. There's no challenge. Being in Asgard natural means that you go looking for challenge elsewhere. So want to explore the realms, want to go and have a scrap somewhere else, but also learn stories from other places.
Do we also resurrect if we get killed in Asgard, or is that only
resurrect? But we resurrect sort of as petitioners. Or you'd be resurrecting somewhere.
Carcerai or something.
Well, yeah, maybe like
maybe not yet, but not far off.
Maybe somewhere like Limbo or Pandemonium.
Yeah. Like
and then you're screwed. Pandemonium's great.
More closer.
Pandemonium's the one that's all tunnels and screaming, isn't it?
Yeah. There's about 4 around that curve of this wheel that are all kind of tunnels and screaming.
That actually sounds like a past experience in this character's life.
Okay, cool.
Tunnels and screaming.
Excellent. So you're both mad.
Good mad. I'm good mad. He's crazy mad.
He's fun mad.
I'm enthusiastic mad.
Fun mad. Okay, cool. Right.
I think I'm fun mad, but might actually.
Can we just get a little rundown of race level stats? Just from Kevin first?
Question mark?
Just so we have an idea of your capabilities.
Mountain dwarf specifically. I'll give you ability scores if that helps.
Yeah, just run them down.
Strength 10, dexterity 8. A little bit fucked. Constitution 14, intelligence 13, wisdom 15, and charisma 15. Because I couldn't get it any higher than 15. But hopefully I will.
Sure. And you are level 3?
Level 3, all Warlock for me.
All Warlock. Okay.
All Warlock.
And what funky things do you think you're going to be?
Funky things. I got some funky stuff just because I've gone Pact of the Tome. So it means I get any 3 cantrips I want from other, like from any spell list, basically.
Yep.
So my cantrips one of my cantrips is Shillelagh from the Druid, which is pretty fun because I have a quarterstaff.
That's cool.
I've also got Guidance, Minor Illusion, Eldritch Blast, of course, because why would you go Warlock and not take it? And Acid Splash. But then
Acid Splash.
Acid Splash is pretty nice for a cantrip. But I've also got I can't remember what it's called now. Tome of Shadows. No, Book of Ancient Secrets as an Eldritch Invocation, which allows me to take any 2 spells as rituals, which I haven't picked yet because I haven't found the ones I want to do. So they're not going to come up this time around, but they will next time maybe. Mm-hmm. And my favorite one, which is Mask of Many Faces, which allows me to cast Disguise Self at will. Which is
cool.
Just funny.
That's very cool. Funny. Yeah, that's very handy.
At will, without using a spell slot.
Nice.
So I could just look like anyone all the time and just change it constantly because Warlock.
Nice. Okay. Excellent. And Ben, if you give us a little rundown of your character capabilities.
Okay, so I've taken a level of Bard and 2 levels of Barbarian.
Cool.
So
Bardbarian.
I've got a Strength of 15, a Dex of 12, a Con of 14 because I'm a Scourge Aasimar. That gives me a little boost there.
Okay.
Intelligence of 10, Wisdom of 8 because everybody knows Wisdom is the best dump stat.
Absolutely.
And a Charisma of 16 because I'm just so damn hot.
Okay, cool. Yeah, abs and all.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Beard.
Big manly beard, like Tormund.
Yeah, I went very suboptimal just because I wanted to be a dwarf who'd lost his mind. My stats are rubbish.
Fair play. Yeah, but I think that's part of the fun. I think, I enjoy a character with a weakness. I'm not saying cripple yourself for the hell of it, but
I'd gone for incredibly reckless, the kind of person that would just see something that was clearly stupid and go doing it anyway.
Cool.
We actually are going to get along because that's both me and my character.
So we've had a couple of comments on the YouTubes. Fat Ass Frodo has said, as all backstories go, I'm sure none of those from all of that will ever come back to haunt you. And
benevolent GMs might not do that to us.
Well, who's that? And wisdom as a dump stat when adventuring with an eldritch guy. Good call. Wicked.
Considering my charisma is so shit, it's not like I'm going to do anything to it, even though I want to.
No, but when the great old ones come, I'm going to be a dribbling idiot. I'm going to have to rage just so that I can't.
There you go. You're immune to psychology.
Oh yeah, just rage. And then
just stay angry permanently. Just Mark Ruffalo that shit.
You want to know my secret?
Mark Ruffalo that shit. Yeah. I'm always hungry. Right. And old Uncle Mojo said, how will this game and player characters relate to the upcoming Planescape game of yours? Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Oh, I thought you were going to... Oh.
I was going to give it all away then.
I don't know that.
Spoiler.
Well, then you wouldn't have to watch. Okay, let's have a look. Kevin, you come from Nidavellir, which is where the abode of the Dark Dwarves is. Mountainous and it's craggy, and that's probably basically that's where all the dwarves in Asgard come from. All and on each of the in various areas of Asgard, petitioners that arrive there are of different races. So in Asgard, which is you can see on the picture here,
yeah, I gotta say that bridge is not very rainbowy.
No.
That is not a rainbowy bridge. I'd be disappointed. I'd be like, where's my rainbow?
Which one are we talking about? Oh, wait,
Asgard.
Oh,
yeah, the bridge poking out of it. Bifrost.
That is rainbowy. It's rubbish. Get a better bridge, Asgard. Come on.
Well, it's described.
MDF.
It's described very rainbowy. So in the books and in the text, so that might just be a wall that they've got a rampart on, and it looks the implication. For reference,
well, whoever made this tourist brochure somebody needs to have a word with them.
Absolutely,
better sites of Asgard.
Not dwarven work, I'll tell you that.
The gates of the moon is where the infinite staircase begins, and Asgard is a large realm on that Earthberg, not covering the whole Earthberg, and from nearby is the city that you can get down Bifrost, and I'll be able to pull that out if you go that way. So you guys, let me just grab, this is where I realised that I've left all my stuff in the studio. No, here we go. Put those pens away. So we had Volker Skald, and can you change your little names?
Oh, can we? That's a good question.
If not, Kevin, what was your character's name?
Jotun Ifran.
Okay. Jotun Ifran. Cool.
And yes, I am aware of the irony of dwarf called giant.
Yeah, that's cool.
Deliberate.
I like it. Yeah,
he's a shade over 5 foot
he's
tall.
crazy.
Oh, he's tiny.
Shade over 5 foot tall for a dwarf.
That's quite
Really?
tall for a dwarf.
That's
why it's called Jotun.
That's why they call him giant. Yeah.
It's actually Jotun. He's got a first name, but we can go by.
Is that all one name, Jotun Ifran?
No, Jotun.
Okay.
Second name Ifran.
Jotun. Okay. Cool. Okay, so you are members of. Well, actually, we should clear this up. Ben, Volker is a member of the Fated. That's right.
Yes.
Isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
And we
you want
should probably
go and get it.
Yes. And now, Kevin, most people on the plane are members of the Fated faction. You don't have to be. I'm about to give you a little rundown of what that means, and that will be important for our viewers as well. Well, Ben kind of summed it up pretty much in one thing. The multiverse belongs to those who seize it. No one's to blame for a poor sod's fate but the sorry sod himself. So they are all about going out, seizing, not in an overly aggressive way, but if need be, they will do.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I just don't know if it's...
you don't have to be a faction member, so you may not be part of it.
I feel like he would have been a faction member anyway, before he had his little incident.
Okay.
Definitely would have been. Whether or not he still...
Well, he could still be. That may not have affected anything yet.
Again, they probably wouldn't know he was alive either, I would guess. He's kind of going, yeah.
But would they...
Haven't stripped your union card or anything.
But none of the dustmen have put your name in the dead book, have they?
No, but no one from that expedition came back, was the thing. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, sometimes expeditions
maybe
don't come back.
I haven't talked to them about it since, I guess, probably. Like, I haven't turned up and gone, I'm still here. So.
Yeah, maybe. And that was a while ago, wasn't it?
20 years, I was thinking.
Well, without evidence. See, they reside in the Hall of Records, and they're basically gathering all the information on property records across Sigil. They look after taxation for the city as well. So basically, they are trying to squeeze different parts of the city, their opponents, and they give benefits or less taxation to those who are their allies. Now, they are led by a chap called Rowan Darkwood, Duke Rowan Darkwood, I believe, who is a very powerful individual who is a priest of Heimdall, and he is the Factol. Now, the Factol is the leader of the faction, and you guys are merely members. But there is a hall in Asgard that you have been drinking in for the last couple of days, while some very heavy battle is being seen across the fields around the city itself and outside of the walls. There seems to be an influx of petitioners lately to the area that have come across from Valhalla, and there has been pitched hordes fighting out beyond the walls. They seem to have broken into a strange kind of rhythm where every few days they will come in for a bit more mead than battle. They'll still fight, but a bit more mead. And you've found out that there seems to have been some sort of large war on a prime material world that has led to a whole series of petitioners arriving in Asgard. And this city...
Noobs.
yeah. All the level 0 humans got massacred. Oh, hang on. We've just got something in from a viewer. To change displayed name, Kevin and Ben can go to the cog in the far top right off Roll20, and under that settings is a display name section. Can type character name. Anyway, cool. That might help our viewers and help me a little bit when I'm reading things out. So the city is
done it.
Oh, cool. Volker Skald. Excellent. Oh. So Jotun is his...
There's supposed to be an umlaut or whatever you call it over
Jotun. Yeah.
I guess it's Jotun, really, isn't it? It's going to be Norse inspired, but
yeah,
whichever you want to say, really.
Yeah.
I was thinking actually, Pete, while you were saying that as well, chances are I will have reported back, but maybe I reported back much later than it actually happened, because that would be how we'd know each other, I guess. If we're both still members of the same faction. So I would have reported back that everyone else had gone missing, and then we know each other from some faction-related mission.
Sure. And the two of you, therefore, have been working together for the faction. In the area, there are obviously different powers in Asgard. They are not all aligned to the fated or the takers or the heartless, as they're often called. You've been on journeys out to Alfheim. You've been to Jotunheim and fought there against trolls and other such things, the Fensir. And you are enjoying a few days recreation in Asgard as you watch from the parapets as hordes of idiots clash with crude weapons out on the fields, and you enjoy the mead and the ale in the halls. These are all sort of thatched buildings, wooden construction, stone lower ground, sort of ground floor, wood above that, giant halls, and several of them are built to house gods. So these structures are gargantuan, enormous things. The main hall is actually fashioned from the roof is made of shields of fallen warriors, and the walls are from spears of fallen Valkyries and again warriors on the battlefield. So that is where Odin, when he's in residence, dines and drinks with the chosen elite and Valkyries and Einherjar, as Ben, I can't pronounce that word. Einherjar.
I'll come next to be telling you can't say Yafyallayokal.
Yafyallayokal? Of course I can. It's Yafyallayokal anyway. So
that's what I said. Yafyallayokal.
My wife is half Danish, so I should be able to say some of these things. So you have spent some time there, and there is factotum, which is one of the sort of middle manager leaders of the fated, called Thorhilda, who you have been given a few tasks from in the past. She is a strong lady, human woman. She is, and therefore she's prime, and she has come from one of these prime material worlds and been raised up by Rowan Darkwood, who himself is a human as well, and therefore he is a prime, and it is strange and remarked upon by the other factions that the leader of this faction is a human. So Thorhilda in the past has given you tasks to do, and you are very much at the beck and call of the faction as it is at your lowly rank, even though you've have some interesting stories and tales to tell. You are not yet up with the likes of the Valkyrie, and therefore cannot sort of decide your own fate as far as the faction is concerned. So you are kind of in a fest hall. There are a number of people around you drinking mead, ale. Someone in the corner is throwing axes at another man who is holding his arm against the wall and sort of trying to pull it out of the way in time for this axe to before it strikes his hand. He's not very successful. He seems to be quite drunk, and he's steadily losing fingers. And this kind of activity is the backdrop to your quiet recreational time here in Asgard. There's the smell of sweaty warriors. Occasionally there's the clash of steel in the background, but mostly it's song and cheer. You can imagine the kind of thing. If you mashed up the Thor movies and Rohan in Lord of the Rings, you're getting somewhere in between, and that's pretty good. So you guys are there. You've had a couple of days now where you've been relaxing, and you are essentially waiting for Thorhilda to come to you again. However, there is this whole city, there is this whole realm beyond. There are all these things. You can head to Bifrost if you want to Gates of the Moon, but you should probably at some point check in with Thorhilda if you are determined to leave the plane. So, you are drinking. Oh, yep, there you
go. Drinking in character with your mead.
People are jostling around. They're shouting and bellowing. And you've recently been out to Alfheim, and there had been an invasion by Dark Elves, the Drow, into that area. And you helped in a particular battle. And you're kind of reminiscing about some of the death strikes that you inflicted upon them. And Volker, you're kind of interested in the strange magic that Jotun has. Magic is kind of not the first port of call for dwarves or for warriors of Asgard. It's generally seen as something that's like a physical or artistic struggle or creative output. So he is someone to be remarked upon in the area, and occasionally, Kevin, you do get the odd stare from petitioner warriors who know nothing better. And people seem to be getting a bit more drunk. It's the stench in the room is getting stronger as people spill ale across the table. Mead goes over your boot, and there's kind of hogs and boars being brought in, roasted, and so it's quite a thick atmosphere.
Kind of looking over my shoulder at the dude who's getting all the axes thrown at his arm. Is he still there?
He is. He's laughing is he
pulling all sorts of faces as this is going on? Like, as in, I assume he's reacting to getting hit by axes.
Well, at first, he's sort of, painful, and then he's like, as one of his fingers comes off his hand.
Can I, kind of with my hand, like, shielding my face, turn towards Volker, and using Mask of Many Faces, make my face look like his face and go, basically taking the piss in, like you would do like a mocking voice of someone you didn't like me if you were a kid, like that, but with just my face, like changes it to his face, and I go.
You can
I need to
indeed
move somewhere quieter. This is so fucking loud all the time.
It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be loud.
I don't mind it when I'm hitting them, but they're just fucking around for no reason,
Someone beyond Volker in your line of sight. He's drinking and he's kind of looking in your direction, and you can see behind you the guy with his hand against the wall laughing, and then he sort of looks down at you as you change your face and go ooh, like this, and he's like looks at his ale, he looks up at you, and he's like, hey, that's are you mocking him? You
mocking
dwarf. There's some large man who has thick red hair and a massive beard, and he's dressed in kind of the kind of, you've seen it everywhere, this kind of archetypical mix of chainmail and fur, and he's kind of standing there wobbling with some friends as they're getting more and more drunk, standing near a kind of large pole that's supporting a column, that's supporting the ceiling, and he kind of stares at you. Do you do it quickly, or do you keep it on there, or
no? I just did it in like
okay,
it's there and gone kind of thing.
Okay. He. Do you react to him?
I'm just gonna look at him and kind of smile. What I think is drunkenly, but probably looks slightly cracked.
Okay.
I'm going to flick a coin on the table in front of Jotun and go, 6. Well, we roll a dice. If I roll a 6, I have to deal with your problem. If you roll less than a 6, you can deal with your problem.
Fine.
Problem? He's like, this guy sort of stepped a bit closer. He's holding on to this column, though. He does seem quite drunk, which is probably why he's also doing the whole, are you staring at me kind of thing. He kind of steps forward. Problem? What
My
dice?
friend and I have a wager.
What dice are you rolling? Roll a d20.
Kev, I assume when you were saying if you roll a 6, only if you roll a 6, and if you roll anything else, I have to deal with it.
You made the problem, you fixed the problem, but I can fix it for you. But I don't mind.
How about we flip a coin?
Okay, a coin flip.
Okay, so both of you roll, and whoever gets the higher.
You want to roll a d6, and we'll do.
Yeah, roll a d6.
And 1 to 3 is me, and 4, 6
no,
is Ben?
Both of you roll a d6, and whoever gets the higher is the winner.
What is it? It's / roll d6, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have the? Oh no, I have the little control panel at the side. Okay.
Hey!
So who won?
Yeah, he did.
I won. So does that mean you're dealing with the problem, or I'm dealing?
Looks like I'm dealing with the problem. You're the winner.
This guy sort of steps up behind you now, Volker, and he's kind of puts his hand on your shoulder to stare at the dwarf. You can tell he's steadying himself on you, and he kind of looks across, and he's like, "You taking a piss out of my friend."
Right, I'm going to stand up. All 6'1" of me.
Okay, hang on. I need to make a DC 10 dexterity roll in order to not fall over.
We're drunken.
Oh, okay. He rolled a 3. So he falls. He doesn't he's not flat out incapacitated, but he kind of stumbles to the side and he goes down to one knee and he holds onto the back of someone's cape, and he's like, "Oh, tell me next time when you're going to stand up. Are we going outside or what?" And he's like,
"Before we go outside, my friend, let me tell you about the man you are about to start offending." And I'm going to pick up my quarterstaff and start banging it on the floor rhythmically.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell the story of how Jotun single-handedly slew a drow priestess. It wasn't true, but I'm extemporizing.
Okay. Are you trying to intimidate him?
Yep.
Okay.
Through the medium of rhyme.
I was going to say through the medium of dance. That would have been awesome. What is your intimidate?
My intimidate is...
Are you proficient?
I am proficient. So I have, I believe, +5 to intimidate.
Okay, +5 to intimidate. And so you can
There's no synergy from performing, is there? It's +5 as well anyway, so...
Yeah. So you can just roll 1d20 +5 if you want to, or you can roll a d20 and then we can add 5.
I will make use of the facilities we have.
Is he rolling? Oh, 20! Okay, so I will make a roll, but I'm going to roll twice and I'm at disadvantage because I'm drunk. So I'm just going to roll. I'm going to whack 2 of these in. Well, he's failed. So he sort of stumbles backwards. I wasn't aware. No doubt I'll see you on the battlefield at some point anyway. And he kind of stumbles away. Obviously not willing to ruin his day's luck. Maybe he was had fun on the battlefield and doesn't want to ruin it today while he's in his cups. So he kind of stands up and jarringly kind of walks away, bumps into the column, and then sort of rights himself and shuffles around it. And then he kind of heads back into the crowd. And as this is going on, and as you're standing up now, Volker, you can see Thorhilda coming through the throng, and people are moving out of the way. A lot of people know who she is. She's a fairly important person in this part of town, and for this mead hall, a minor celebrity, as it were, to appear. So she starts walking towards you. She's a handsome woman. She's tall, she's strong, she's muscular. She has sort of half-plate armour on, breastplate technically for armour class purposes. Wolf pelts, kind of a thing going on. And it's a couple of braids in one side of her hair. And the hair she's scraped the scalp on the other side. And she approaches and Volker, your turn.
My lady?
Volker was just telling a beautiful story. I don't know who it's about, but it was a nice story.
Yes, you need to pay up, my friend. You lose.
He tells many stories.
We flipped a coin!
Yes, we flipped the coin, but it was my coin on the table, and now you have to put your coin on the table.
You want me to pay you for this story you tell?
No, it was a bet.
I'm
going to charge you for the story.
I didn't know this. I could have taken care of it myself. It would have been bloodier, but I'll give you whatever coin you put out. I assume it was a gold piece or something. I'll hand you over.
She just waits. She just waits. Just like with an easy confidence. She's kind of just standing there. There's all this ruckus going on around, and she knows no one's really going to mess with her. And she's a very skilled warrior, and if they did, they would be have short shrift.
Resurrecting tomorrow.
yeah. See you tomorrow.
Can we get you a drink?
Certainly. Mead, as usual. I'm here on business, though. Faction business.
Of course.
So I will sit with you. And she looks at you expectantly for you to point at a serving person or something. She kind of sits down and several weapons sort of come out and make it easier for her to do so on the table. There's an axe, there's a sword, there's something weird with kind of a grippy thing on the end. Looks maybe some sort of short man catcher, you're not sure. And she kind of whacks that all on the table and sits down.
It's a good job I'm not a short man.
You take my quarterstaff.
She looks at you both and goes, I like short men. Anyway.
I'm quite tall for my size.
Indeed. Anyway, I'm here on faction business. We've had a report in that an item of some interest has been located to a certain degree, or someone seems to be aware of where this item is. It's an old horn of calling that was lost a long time ago, and something that our factol, the Duke, is keen to reclaim due to its many powers and abilities. It seems that this horn has different capabilities depending which plane you are on, but one in particular he finds very interesting. It has the capability of influencing astral conduits, and this is actually leading probably to where it has been located. I need you to do me a small favour. You will be rewarded for this, obviously, as is customary. And there shall be much mead and rejoicing once you have achieved. Indeed. I need you to climb the stairs of the infinite staircase.
Ha! At last.
Well, you have proven yourselves capable, and not some brainless basher who will just walk up the wrong flight at a moment's notice.
Well, not brainlessly anyway. I might do it, but
for a reason.
You would be the right.
She looks at you and she says, I would be careful in there. There are dark, inky spaces beyond those stairs that draw the mind. Be careful. But I need you to venture out to the gates of the moon and find yourselves up the infinite staircase. Saloon's followers watch the first steps, but they are not opposed to our mission or our goal, and they will merely give you advice and warnings on your way. Obviously, the journey there itself to the gates of the moon is not simple. You must navigate many Earthberg currents to get there, and I believe there have been Fenseer and other creatures seen upon the Earthberg of the gates of the moon recently, so be careful. I need you to voyage to the Planeswalkers Guild. They reside within the infinite staircase, approximately 6 hours travel from the entrance. The Planeswalkers Guild have taken up residence on a large landing, large enough to accommodate a small tent village, and there they seek to explore the realms. And we have had word that one of them has heard of the location of the Horn of Calling, and unsurprisingly, it seems that it is within the astral plane. However, they did not want to divulge specifics in a message. They wish to do that in person. So we need to send someone to go and retrieve the information. And the two of you are just mad enough to make your way up the infinite staircase without it blowing your minds. You've already been touched in the brain box, so I think you'll be okay.
Always lovely talking to you, by the way. Always.
You know how it is here.
Oh, yes. I've been touched more than once.
Also, one of the meads that's been delivered.
Yeah, she takes a large slug of mead. Yes, it's important faction business. This horn could be a great boon for our people in Sigil, and could mean that Rowan's plans come to fruition sooner. So it is no
we get
trivial.
The horn, we bring you the horn. Is there reward or just glory of the faction?
If you believe that you can get to the horn safely and retrieve it,
I space out a little.
It's information.
What? Yes. Okay.
However, if you get there and they inform you that the portal to where it is 5 minutes walk away, and there are no guards, then by all means go and fetch the Horn of Calling. However, that's probably not the case. But you will see. We know not this information, and I need someone to go and find this out.
It will be done. We will bring you the news, or we will bring you the horn.
Excellent. Very well.
Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
Now, which of you wants to come with me and throw an axe at that idiot over there?
I only have a stick.
They have axes.
Oh, yeah?
There's like a bucket of axes over there.
Lying around? Okay.
Okay, so she has some mead with you. And she you enjoy a bit of ribald evening activity before the following day. Now, I need to take a brief moment, so I'm going to turn my sound off. If you guys want to chat amongst yourselves in character about what's going on, she leaves you to discuss it. Then I will be back. I'll only be a couple of minutes. I just need to go and check on Lars in bed.
So what do you think? Easy mission?
No, of course not. But it's up the stairs. There's it's a chance to get out of Asgard, see more of the realms. You know, travel to exotic foreign locations, meet interesting, exciting people, kill them, and take their stuff.
This is good. I've walked upstairs before, but I think this different kind of stairs.
Yeah.
Are they very, very big or just very, very long?
Very, very.
Do we climb stairs?
What?
Do we step?
Have you been? No, but what I know of the stairs, from what I hear, is that it is many stairs leading to many places, up, down, round, to other places. You know.
I think I see a painting like this once.
Yes,
stairs, they go over, under, around.
Further apart than
doorways.
Lots of moving staircases.
Sounds deeply conceptual.
Very, very conceptual. Yes, you can usually get a feel from the landings.
You want another round? I need another round.
Another round is good.
I'll go get mead. Yeah, there you go.
Skull. These landings, it's not like a regular staircase. They're much bigger.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it, actually.
And we don't go through doors on landings where there is lava or spikes, that kind of thing.
You don't like this kind of decor?
It's not the decor, it's that when you go through the door, there is more of the same.
But what if it's a red herring? The door might be door to nice place.
No, that's not how this works. If there are herring on the landing, we're fine.
That will be the door.
It'll come back to Asgard.
Elemental plane of water, maybe.
Okay. You seem wise and knowledgeable about this, Volker. I'm glad I chose you as a companion. Or
well, you know,
each other more specific.
You spend 20 years being forced to learn every saga they can pump into your brain. Sooner or later, you pick one or two things up.
Eventually, the saga of the stairs sticks.
Yeah. There are stories
at least you learn spikes and flames bad, herring
spikes,
okay.
Flames bad, herring okay. If we find a landing made entirely of gold, that would be fantastic.
We stay there. We eat nothing but gold. We die of starvation. I like it.
Or, we could just go through the door, get loads and loads of money, and then come back and live happy life.
Okay, no, I'm okay with this plan. I don't mind. I might go elsewhere after. Maybe not back to Asgard. To see more stuff.
Well, one day I always want to see Sigil.
She says to you, that's one thing I forgot to say. While you're talking to her and before she leaves, she does say to you, you can report this information back to any faction center. So it's not for her specifically, it's for the faction. So you could go onto Sigil if you find a path to Sigil to do that.
Do we need a guide? Or we just start walking the stairs?
Well, we got to get to the stairs first. Trolls and Fimir and things like this.
When we get there, do we go get the guide?
When we get there, we just start walking. The good thing about the stairs
is... It sounds like a very, very vague plan to me, but I like it in its brazenness. I think we should start.
Volker, you know that the infinite staircase, if travelled alone, is incredibly dangerous because it will often present to you what your heart desires, but in a weird way. And it can often lead you off into some sort of never-ending David Bowie-esque style, horrible infinite.
I don't know. That sounds kind of cool.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Those tights were a bit tight.
As long as I don't have to look at his bulge.
Too bad. Is the bulge forever? Yeah.
Oh no! I have landed in my own.
Every step has got a weird bulge on it.
We keep accidentally brushing against it.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh.
I think it moved.
So you guys spend the rest of the evening drinking, throwing axes, bit of arm wrestling, bit of fighting, fisticuffs. Nothing serious, nothing major, nothing you can't recover from with a long rest. But you enjoy yourselves in a way that Asgardians do, because you are from this plane, so you do know how that works. And Gladsheim.
And at third level, while we're not like super hard nuts, we can pretty much take most petitioners.
Yeah, petitioners are grunts. They are kind of, a few. You could take a few of them, and you would be,
pick up one, use it as a weapon against others.
Probably, yeah. So you guys bed down in the faction common room that they have in their hall. This hall you're in is sort of run mostly by the faction and funded by the increased taxes that your people have placed against harmonium centres across Sigil. This is just like every now and then the factotums come through with these kind of announcements of the great developments that are going on in Sigil, something that does inspire a lot of you to want to go there. But obviously it's the PR machine, the propaganda, they've got to keep up hey, we've done another great thing. We've got another 2% increase in income from blah, 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 a place you've never heard of. Great. Kind of thing. So that's how you think everything's being paid for. And you guys bed down and spend the night dreaming of weird old one creatures in some inky dark hole, or some sort of adventurous sex dream. I'm imagining, Volker. That's probably something that could rival the Klingons.
I dedicate this sex dream to Odin.
It's just a little high five from Odin before we begin. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So you guys awaken in the morning, and you are, there's all the people are gathering. They're sort of getting their things together, their weapons, their equipment. They're shaking off hangovers. All this is going on around you. You as well are probably shaking off hangovers. Let's have DC 10 con saves from both of you, please. And if you add your modifier on. Oh!
No.
That's all right. You got a natural 20.
No, I didn't. I just said roll 20.
That's a great way to
18,
play
so
this.
18,
yeah. And what's your constitution modifier?
/ roll D20 plus 2.
Oh, constitution modifier is 2.
Oh, that went well.
Okay, Volker, you were enjoying your cups and you have a mild hangover. You take 1 level of exhaustion on your characters.
God, what was in that meat?
So you're
I put nothing in meat. Nothing. I swear. And I smile and then vaguely start staring off at the distance.
Man,
not
he's
suspiciously,
weird.
just like weird.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, I remember this time when a giant tentacle monster from space probed the brain.
Is this one of your dreams, or you? What? Which areas were the probing?
Oh god. Oh blimey. Right. So you guys are up, and Asgard is in the full. Sorry, I'm just sorting something out while I'm talking. Asgard is in the full business of preparing for battle, for war, all over again, as they do every morning. And the warriors are getting they're banging their shields, heading out onto the battlefield, so they can go and fight their friends who they fought the day before in the eternal. What did they call it? Eternal brawl. Yeah. So.
Can I go find Volka like a slab of bacon?
Oh, definitely.
Eggs. And be like,
Definitely.
Eat. We need you not hungover.
No, grease is the best cure for hangovers.
Yeah. This is why I bring it.
Yeah, it's thick with it, and it's a nice slab of kind of boar bacon. It's like,
but bacon, but like cut.
Yeah, absolutely. It's thicker than the bread.
Which has only been ripped.
Yeah, absolutely. And he kind of hands this to you, and you wolf it down. Now you guys know that there are docks nearby where longships head out across the Earthbergs. Whether they have to head through some of the more insubstantial areas, or whether it's all oceanic and just sort of swells and things. As you can see from the pictures below, there are kind of odd sort of crashing wave areas, and some of them look a little bit more ethereal. So you are aware of where you can go and get, where you can basically charter a ship to take you, and you are ready to roll. I assume you've got all your equipment. Have you guys got any interesting equipment that you want to talk about before we go?
I have not gone through and properly bought equipment yet.
Nor me, because I looked through and went, nothing here is very expensive. And I apparently have 500 gold worth of equipment. I was like, I could get some climbing gear.
That's cool. But you've got I feel like adventurous pack kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything special or interesting that you've... I believe I did say you could have
one special thing. That
one common
I
magical item.
Yep, I've got my moon sword, which is quite sparkly.
Okay.
I think I wanted to have a masterwork quarterstaff for banging on the floor and
that's fine. Yep.
Claiming with.
How does a masterwork one work then? How's that?
How does what? Sorry.
It just looks nice.
Masterwork, does that add anything to it, or is it just prettier?
It gives you like a +1 to either attack or damage. I can never remember which. One of those.
Ooh, I'd go for one of those on my quarterstaff because that's the only weapon I have.
That might be 3rd edition.
The all eldritch and shit.
Equipment. So, but you have a moon. What's it called?
Oh, what is it called?
Moon touched blade or something.
Something like that.
And that's what kind of sword is that?
That's a great sword.
A great sword. So you have
really
this
cool
dirty great sword across your back, ready. And whenever Jotun, you've seen this. Whenever he draws the blade out, it casts this kind of moonlight out in the kind of roughly about 15 feet radius, and then half strength for about 15 feet after that. So it's effectively like a cool torch that does stuff. I think masterworking
that's my serious shit's just got real sword. Generally I'll fight with the quarterstaff.
Okay.
Unless something's posing an actual challenge, in which case the greatsword comes out. But I like to open up a battle with the javelin. That's my ranged weapon of choice.
Oh, nice. So a bit of javelin action.
It's a dedicate this battle to Odin kind of
lightning bolt style
situation.
One day, javelins and lightning. For now, just regular javelins. Throw it, dedicate the battle to Odin, then beat the snot out of people with the staff.
Cool.
And then if you're getting the snot beaten out of you, then you whip out your sword.
Comes the sword,
yeah.
And shine some moons at them.
Cool. Okay, so...
I wasn't sure about the common magic item as well, because the only common magic items I was seeing were like potions and shit. So I don't know.
You can have a potion if you want. You got also 500 gold, so if you could buy potions with that. So we were looking at the Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Have you got that one?
I do.
Oh
yeah. There's a few nice. There's a few nice ones in there that are I think my favourite has to be. Let me see if I can find it. That's it. The Cloak of Billowing.
Oh yeah.
While wearing this
It just
cloak,
looks
you can use a
cool all the
bonus
time.
action to make it billow dramatically. That is my single most favourite magic item that they've done so far. Just like, ha-ha! You have to use a bonus action to do it. It's like the most pointless thing in the world. I thought a dark shard... magic items 136. I thought a dark shard amulet might be an appropriate thing for...
Certainly sounds appropriate.
That'd also be good for being that thing that you have still got that you're probably not supposed to have.
It could be.
The amulet
one
is
thing
fashionable.
I do
You don't
want to
know.
have, equipment-wise, Pete. I'd quite like to have some pepper.
Right.
They go. That'd be
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Some pepper
Yep.
is one of the unusual things that I would probably carry, like a little pouch of pepper.
Sure, that's fine. Barbarians generally do medium armor or lower.
Yes, I've
Unless
got
you're-
scale mail.
Okay, unless you're unarmored, in which case you can use your to protect you. You get your con modifier as well as your dex modifier to 10 to make your armor class.
Yeah, that's not as good as having scale mail.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's not as good. But as if you did want to like go full pecs out, you know, you can.
Yeah. Suns out, guns out.
Mhm.
No, I'm going to go with the scale mail and furs. Sure. And I'm thinking shaved up to here with like long plaits.
Okay. Cool.
I'm going to be looking for omens a lot as well, I think.
Okay.
That's it. That's
And
it.
portent.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, what are you guys up to as you get up in Asgard, in Gladsheim, the Hall of Odin? You know, in the shadow of the Hall of Odin, I should say. All these people going out for war. What are you going to head out to the docks and try and?
Yep, I guess that's got to be our first port of call, hasn't it, really? If we head to the
Yeah,
docks
yeah.
and see if we can get
think
a
so.
long ship to the gates of the moon.
I think so.
Cool. Okay. So, you guys make your way out of Asgard. It's it's the entire region of Asgard, the sort of main city, the halls, various areas around it sit within this large wall that's sort of 80 feet high, and I think it's like 30 feet thick or something. So a serious wall going on, like, you know, ridiculous extraplanar kind of.
Well, that's what happens when you get a giant who comes and builds you a wall and you try and
Absolutely.
cheat him out of money and you make your son go and turn into a horse and then have sex
I've
with
heard
his
this
horse.
story.
And
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
very strange.
Yeah,
But, you know, it worked.
it is.
Gods are odd people.
Oh, yes. But smart.
I mean, I guess. I'm not sure it's worth it getting fucked by a horse to make that plan work.
Well, you're not Loki, so
He could have been into it, for sure.
if anybody deserves it, it's probably Loki.
So I hear.
Hmm. Cool. So you make your way. You've got some horses, and you can make your way down to the dock area. It's a small town of its own with a wall around it as well. The journey between is one punctuated by fjords, sweeping vistas, steep mountains, and people fighting in the fields and battles going on.
You know, much as I want to get out and see the plains, I think later I might be pining for the fjords.
Both of you, please make perception rolls.
Deception.
This isn't hard. It's a DC 10 perception roll.
With your passive wisdom, yeah?
Oh, perception roll. I think it's a deception roll.
No, perception.
God. 1+2. Wrong one.
+9.
Apparently, that's my passive perception, according to this
Oh
fillable
no,
character
that's your
sheet.
passive perception. It's 9.
Oh, my passive perception is 9, right?
Yes, yeah. So you
Oh, but
roll.
we're rolling perception.
Yeah,
So-
you add your
well, in that
wisdom.
case, it would be
Unless you're
-1.
unless you're proficient.
Are you proficient?
I am not proficient,
Okay.
but I do have a -1
So
in it.
you got a 6 and I got a
Okay.
19.
So I got it.
Okay, cool. So, your turn. As you guys are riding along a track, there's a mountain to one side. There's a fjord off to the left, and you're sort of looking around, and you notice that behind you, quite a way behind you, there is another mounted figure following you. Well, on the same path. But there are a few people on this path at the moment. They all seem to be busy fighting. This is like fighting time of the day. You know, it's like between 9 and 11 in the morning. It's optimum fighting time, you know.
Okay. I'll mention it to Volka. Someone's kind of... I don't know if they're following us, but they're not fighting. They're maintaining distance. It's a bit strange.
Well, maybe they're just going the same way and they don't like dwarves.
I mean, I don't like dwarves.
It's understandable.
Me least of all, but I don't like to be followed either. Let's just keep an eye. We just keep it. I'm just making.
We'll keep an eye. If he starts or she starts being suspicious, then we kill them. They wake up tomorrow. They can.
We
be
kill
stuck
them. We
behind.
take their stuff. Start again.
Yeah.
It's sounding more and more like Daisy.
Okay, so you carry on your journey, and it's probably a half a day's ride. You're making your way across the countryside, and this figure behind you is in fact slowly catching up. It seems not to a stage where they're within sort of shouting distance or even like longbow, up in the air distance. They're keeping you in sight. If you think this land is either flat or extremely mountainous, so you're not really venturing into the mountainous areas. You're keeping in kind of the flat lands, going around the fjords, making your way along to the right area where this kind of port is. This person has a fairly good view across the land, and so do you. So it's hard to follow someone without being seen, unless you're a flyer or invisible or something like that. And clearly, this doesn't seem to be either of those things. But they seem to be riding a little bit faster than you, and they are getting closer.
Well, we'll let them come closer. What's the worst that can happen?
We could end up as petitioners. I don't know what to be a petitioner.
No, I know, but there's one of them and two of us.
Okay.
So are you gonna stop, or are you gonna keep on going? You think you'll get there before they catch up with you?
Yeah, well, we'll slow down a bit then.
Okay.
It would be inhospitable to not let them try.
Okay, sure. So you sort of take your time and meander a little bit. You break for some food. You pause for a drink, a little bit more than you would, a little bit longer than you would. And after a while, this figure seems to be getting closer to a point where you think you can make out a tall man with red hair and a big beard on a horse.
Oh God, I hope so. Oh, how good would that be? Might get my coin back.
It does indeed look a bit like, very much like the chap, the drunkard, who accosted you in... Oh, hello, we've lost Ben for a moment. I thought he was just looking at me pensively, but clearly he's
gone.
He's lost it. Well, I'm going to take that moment then just to step away just for a moment. 2 seconds.
Okay. Bum ba bum ba bum ba ba bum ba bum ba bum I'm the intermission. And
I'm back.
I wasn't just humming music the entire time you were gone.
You're saying something clever and insightful.
No, I was literally humming.
Oh, cool. Excellent.
Lift music the
Great.
whole time.
Oh, we've lost all our viewers.
Sweet.
No, we've got 3 on YouTube, and we've got
reported
4
for
on
defamatory
Twitch.
language. What?
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, Ben's having a bit of trouble. Is he there?
He said something about his cat, and then he vanished.
There. Oh. He's dropped off. He's going to come back. Sorry for the interruption, viewers. Please bear with us while Ben sorts out his feed. Hopefully you're enjoying the awesome adventures of Bardbarian and Dwarlock.
Oh, he's beautiful. Yep.
Good. Pete?
Excellent.
Don't know what happened there. I
No
blamed my
worries.
cat. My cat was being an idiot, so it's probably his fault.
Cats are evil.
Yeah.
So
He's even called Loki, so there you go.
oh
Loki
god,
isn't evil. He's just
appropriate. Naughty. So you can see that he has seen the fact that you guys are slowing down and you've clocked him. And as he's continuing to ride towards you, he's now lifting a spear above his head in a kind of standard kind of challenge. As he's coming.
I'm gonna walk towards him, waving in a friendly type manner, with that kind of weird, vacant, wide-eyed smile.
Okay, so you're not on your horse. You're getting off.
Yeah.
Okay.
And while I'm doing that, I'm gonna cast Armor of Agathis on myself.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Right.
Just walking along, and so I would imagine a little bit of kind of. It's almost like hoarfrost, I guess.
Okay.
It's icy, cold armor, but just slight steam rising, but coldness.
Yeah.
Coming off and then dropping down.
Cool.
As I'm walking.
Very cool.
With my staff out and just waving.
Friendly
like.
He sort of look. You can see a kind of strange, quizzical look come across his face, and he lowers his spear towards you. Level with you, and starts charging towards you, and you hear him shout something like "Glory to you and your ancestors."
Cool.
And he charges you.
Might be javelin o'clock.
Okay, so shall we roll initiative?
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Initiative.
I'm rolling high this game.
Right, what do we do for initiative? Because my character sheet thing hasn't updated.
No, we're not going to do that. So unfortunately, this is the bit of Roll20 that I don't know yet. So we're just going to roll some dice. I'll write it down, and we'll carry on like we're.
What am I actually rolling?
D20
plus your
Dex?
proficiency bonus and your Dex modifier.
Right. How do I know? Oh, there's my proficiency bonus.
It'll be.
Gotcha.
I don't think proficiency.
Oh no, is it not your proficiency? Okay, just your Dex modifier.
I think so. I think it's just. Well, mine's my initiative on because I filled it all out in fantasy grounds. My initiative is -1.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that means it's not.
So it's just your Dex modifier, Ben.
My Dex is -1.
Right, mine's +1 then.
Okay.
So I got a 19.
I got a 17.
So I'm not. I am +2. It's dexterity. So Ben, you were what? 19.
19.
Kev, you were 17.
Yeah.
And I am 16. Look at that. So we have Volker, Jotun, and Beardy Chap. Because you don't know his name yet.
Did your parents call you that?
My wife calls me that. Okay, so Volker, what are you doing? This guy is.
He's charging at my sort of friend-like person. So
he's about 80 feet away,
Ooh,
And
that's
he
a
is-
long way for a javelin.
and he is charging. This is when the combat has begun. You're not waiting till he's like on top of him. So this is kind of like he lowers the spear and says, "Glory to you and your ancestors," and the fight has started. So he's going to be charging towards you. So he's on a horse, so he will be able to strike Jotun this turn.
He's starting
But
towards
if I
me, not you.
throw my javelin just above Jotun, then he'll be riding into a javelin.
Sure. But what's
So
the
let's give
range?
that a try.
What's the range increment on your javelin? Because I think you'll be probably at disadvantage because it's long range for a javelin, maybe.
Quite possibly. Okay, spells. I've overshot.
Book.
Javelin.
Who gets there first?
30/120.
Okay. So, yeah.
Don't use the short range.
Yeah.
At disadvantage.
Yes. Two numbers. The first is the weapon's normal range in feet, and the second indicates the weapon's long range. When attacking a target beyond normal range, you have disadvantage. So, let's have 2 rolls, Ben, and you'll use the lower. What's your with your dexterity and your proficiency bonus? So add that.
Is it dexterity or strength?
It's thrown, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that makes a significant difference for me as well. Oh, a significant difference of 1. But a difference nonetheless.
That was a question.
So is it strength?
Your proficiency bonus and your strength modifier.
Splendid news.
Splendid.
Kapow!
Right. So the other one should have been +4, yeah? So that's an 18.
Hang on, I got
Yeah. No, that's fine.
The other one was ages ago. I've got to do another dice now.
Oh, okay.
Roll D20.
Go for it.
Ah, smeg.
Oh!
That's still
Two
+4
19s,
though.
Yeah.
So,
Two
yeah.
19s in a row.
Oh,
Two
okay.
19s. I'll take the worst of those, which is a 19.
Yeah. Okay.
Shame he didn't have advantage, eh?
So he has got an armor class of. He's got a shield, and he's got +2 dex, and he's got chain. So he's got a armor class of 17.
Oh, that's quite high.
It's not bad, is it? He's a warrior, so
Quite high, though. That's right.
but bear in mind what he is and who he is. So you launch your javelin from behind Jotun over the top of his head as the guy is like charging on his horse. Roll damage.
There you go. I dedicate this battle to Odin.
Okay, so 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
The javelin slices across his arm, just above his shield, and he's like, there's a flash of like worry on his face. Jotun.
I am going to continue smiling and basically open my mouth and go and cast Eldritch Blast out of my mouth. 'Cause that's how
That's how you roll.
sort of like
And what does your Eldritch Blast look like?
Eldritch Bar.
it says it's
Eldritch
a beam
Bath.
of crackling energy that streaks towards a creature within range. But I think it's
What colour is it?
yeah, green. But I think it's
Green?
got vague overtones of weird fleshy shapes in it. So
Nice.
I'm not quite sure what it is.
Okay,
Has it got
cool.
bits
Is
of
that an
carrot in it?
eyeball? Was that a head in there somewhere? That was an arm, I think. Was it a tentacle? I don't know. It kind of
Yeah.
as it's going.
Okay, cool.
So that'll be all really cool if it actually hits. So for a ranged spell attack, it's proficiency and modifier, right?
Your modifier, your spell casting modifier, which is your
Oh no!
8.
I hit the floor.
Okay, so you go bleh, and not much happens.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to charge in.
I'm still walking towards him, by the way, so I'll move my distance towards him.
Okay,
I'm not worried.
so he charges in to strike you, and he is got a +3 to his attack. So let's roll d20 +3. I think. What's your armor class?
More than that.
Okay. So
But not by much. No, my armor class is...
As he's charging in, the javelin strike, and even though you miss, this kind of of like eldritch gloop kind of coming out of your mouth, the horse veers slightly to the side, and he can't quite bring his spear to bear properly. So he kind of goes past you, sort of 10 feet, and starts to turn his horse around. Background to the beginning. Volker, you're a bit further away. Because remember, Jotun moved forward 25 feet. So you're sort of 15 feet back. You can see him turning his horse now. And he's going back towards the dwarf. What would you like to do?
He hasn't actually injured anybody yet. So there's no real cause for sort of silliness. I believe that I will chuck another javelin for now.
Okay. How many javelins do you have?
I don't know.
500 gold worth. You're going to have what?
There are
3,
10.
no?
There are
I'm gonna have at least 3.
10 wagons
have at least
full
3.
of javelins. Yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying.
just
Oh,
think
have
you've
you got
got
more
like
than one? You know, you've got a bunch. Yeah, you've got a
A
bunch.
little quiver
Yeah,
of them.
that's cool. Well, a lot of people don't like tracking ammunition. I do to a certain degree because the advantage of a ranged attack is people don't get to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
So there has to be a little downside to it, you know, and either it's spell
Unless-
slots or number of arrows, or you've got a cantrip. Yeah, cantrips. Yeah, crazy cantrips. Okay, cool. So javelin away.
Javelin. What other cool things can I do?
So you're plus.
Oh, I've got my
4 to
spell
that.
casting and my
You've got
rage.
some magic, haven't you?
I have. But my spells are, like my cantrips are True Strike and Blade Ward, and my level 1s are Dissonant Whispers, Heroism, Thunderwave, and Cure Wounds.
Thunderwave? Yeah, don't do that right now.
Mockery.
Don't do that
come
right
on, man.
now.
You want to insult someone to death at some point in your life.
You want me to Thunderwave?
No,
No,
I
I'm
said
saying
don't.
no. I'm saying why
No.
didn't you take Vicious Mockery so you can insult someone to death at some
I
point?
toyed with Vicious Mockery, but it didn't seem appropriate.
Psychic
Yeah.
damage is always appropriate.
So, okay, yeah. So
I did insult someone to death in one of your games before.
Yes, you did. You insulted an owlbear to death.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Made it better.
Yeah, in the Beastlands, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't come up with a good quip for it either, so I think I just called it.
There we go. Eat javelin, scumbag.
Oh, cool. Right. Yeah, he's got armor class 17, so you hit. Excellent. So roll damage. He's kind of turning, and his paws gives you good. Your damage rolls have been a bit crap, haven't they?
They are
Okay,
just
so you
spoiled.
Six as well.
again you slice the side of his arm. So
But I'm
just
making
check.
it look deliberate, so even though I'm not doing much, it looks cool.
Oh yeah. You're making
You're gonna
making a
after
show
him,
of the fight. This is
time.
part of the joy.
Aiming for the side of your arm.
The thing is, he has a smile on his face. He's not like, even though he's shocked suddenly, he's like, oh, this is interesting. You know, this is a struggle. This has given me a chance to like prove myself. Right, Jotun, you kind of about face, I assume.
Yeah, how close am I to him?
You are 10 feet from him.
Okay. Just for funsies, because
Yeah.
it is more fun,
Yep.
I'm going to step up to him
Okay.
and use a bonus action to cast Shillelagh and whack him with my stick.
Do it.
Because, I mean, Eldritch Blast is more damage, but this is funnier.
Yeah, cool.
So it means I can use Charisma. So it'll be the same roll, actually. 14. Nope.
So that was your to hit roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Shillelagh
Right.
is just
Yeah, it just happens. Okay, so your staff is like magical now, isn't it?
It's magical. It hums through the air, imbued with nature's power, but it continues to hum through the air and misses him entirely. So.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's natural, the power that you've imbued it with.
No, it's not. It's definitely a reverse version of...
The opposite of nature.
So you swing your weapon, but
the staff itself would appear to be also somewhat formless around the edges, maybe writhing a little bit
nice.
after
Nice.
casting it on it.
He does look down
Your
at this.
magic is grim.
Yeah, it's like dark. He does look down at what you're swinging at him, which looks just like some really long dildo that you're kind of swinging around.
It looks like whatever he imagines it works to look like.
Okay. And he's sort of like, ugh, but he kind of moves out of the way and he's like, ha ha! He doesn't get to charge you because he's in combat.
After me swinging, can I just be like, come on.
You can do that if you want.
Yeah. Come on, you have to have a chance. Come on.
Thank you. Very sporting of you. Whoa! What's
I
your
really
armor?
want him to hit me.
Yeah. He misses. He's like,
I have 10 temporary hit points.
he's like caught up in the moment, and there's like all this weird shit going on around him, and suddenly he's like, whoa!
You're making this exceedingly annoying.
I'm very sorry. I'm doing my best.
I can tell.
Maybe tomorrow I'll be better.
Unlikely.
Right, back round to Volker.
Right, I think one more javelin, and then he hasn't yet injured Jotun, so
We're just
I'm
here
feeling a
swinging
bit-
ineffectually at each
I'm
other.
kind of feeling a bit.
Man, you guys are boned if you fight a troll. This guy's taken like 3 rounds for you to take out.
Chill touch though.
But we're not trying.
Oh no, that's true. That is true. You're not
Stop
really
it from
trying.
regenerating.
Yeah. Whoa!
Oh, there you
No. He's armor
No,
class
that doesn't
17. So
Spang.
your javelin flies past both of you, well above your head, Jotun. In fact, you're behind the horse, so you weren't in any real danger. But this javelin flies past, skitters off some rocks in the distance. But it is now your turn again.
Yes. I'm going to. I'm still right next to him, aren't I? Yeah, I'll just swing the club at him again.
Mm-hmm.
It's still shillelagh'd.
I think you should probably have.
For a minute.
Because he's on horseback, you should have a disadvantage. But let's just carry on because this guy's in.
I could just hit the horse. I don't really mind.
No. Just go for it. No, he's like some gribbly petitioner, so it doesn't even matter. So
In fact, I think I will hit the horse.
you're gonna hit the horse.
Yeah,
I've got to get the monster manual out then.
No, I'll hit him. Make life easier. I figure the horse would be easier to hit. It's not going to have high AC, and it might fall on top of him,
It might. You could do that if you want.
or it might run away.
The horse probably has more hit points than him.
I'm not trying to kill it. I'm just trying to hit it. Spook.
Okay. Let's have a look. Warhorse. Oh yeah, it's got nearly twice as many hit points as him. What do you want to do? You want to hit the horse? It's easier to hit. It's a big old
Yeah. I'll try and hit
beast.
the horse.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
probably roll really low. There you go.
Yep.
9.
A 9. It's got an armor class of 11. You missed.
Of course it does.
Okay. He's like reveling in this moment where he's taking on 2 planars without dying in moments. And he thrusts his spear at you once again.
Oh, please.
Oh! Natural
Hooray.
20! Ha-ha!
Do the thing.
Critical roll. Okay, so he has got a spear and he's got a bonus. Basically, he doesn't have a proficiency bonus, he's just very strong. So he is going. It's D6, I believe, a spear. So he gets to roll 2 D6 and add his modifier. So roll. Oh, take 14 points of damage. He brings the spear down right into the.
I lose my 10 temporary hit points. He takes 10 damage from armor of agonist.
Okay.
So I lose 4 hit points. Really.
Okay, right. Okay, cool. So, what does this exchange of life force look like?
Well, it's cold energy,
Yeah.
so I imagine it crackles along the spear.
So like
and,
a rapid
freezes up
icing.
his arm.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So he sticks the spear into you, and ice goes.
And I go, "Ah!" like as it goes in, I go, I've been waiting for this.
And he looks at you like, I wasn't expecting this. And his arm snaps off. And he just goes, falls out of the saddle and hits the deck. He's at -7 hit points, so he's thoroughly dead.
Okay.
And there's now a horse sitting there. There's a war horse.
You try to be dramatic, and is that nicer than our horse?
Similar.
Oh, okay.
We can take the horse. It'll sell.
Oh, we should look after the horse.
When you try to be dramatic and let a guy hit you so he can kill himself hitting you, and then he just repeatedly refuses to fucking hit you.
No, I don't know that.
Frustrating.
Hold on, I'm going to pick up my javelins.
Yeah. I think one is in the shattered arm.
No, I just scraped him with them.
Okay.
So he's lying.
I'm going to check and see does he have anything about his person.
Well, as he expires, he disappears. Slowly, his body falls apart and scatters away. And up in the sky in the distance, you think you see a woman on a flying horse, kind of passing by, like a plane against the clouds kind of thing. But there's like a passing Valkyrie that seems to be
like buses. You wait and wait and wait. And three come along at once.
But seems to collect the spirit of this fallen warrior as it goes. But as he expired, there seemed to be a smile upon his face, as if this was an interesting and new experience for him, a different combat, a different challenge, one that he failed. But as he said, maybe I'll be better tomorrow.
Maybe he'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah, fucking likely.
Well, maybe he will. I mean, these things, it's
my fingers are crossed for him. He tried to start a fight in a bar. Today he started a fight on the road. Tomorrow he just be fucking fighting no matter what. But yeah, we learn from these things, I guess.
But now we have a horse.
We have a horse.
You can put all your javelins on it.
Right?
Are you injured?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
I can fix that if you want.
That would be very helpful. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Healing word?
Cure wounds.
Oh, cure wounds. Ooh. At what level?
First.
Yeah.
I only lost 4.
Because you're only...
It's D8 plus 1, isn't it?
It's D8 plus your spellcasting modifier.
Yeah, it's D8 plus 1.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm better than I was before. What? That feels nice. I think you took care of an old injury there.
Yeah, I think you had a problem with your rotator cuff.
Yeah, I don't know. That one in here.
It's old
Have
tennis
you been playing
injury.
volleyball?
Is that the one with the heads? Or
Probably the way you play it.
It's hard to get them to bounce. Is the problem. You have to replace the skull with something with air in.
Cool. So you gather your stuff together, pick your javelins up, and you make your way off to the port.
Leading the spare horse.
Leading the spare horse. There is a Wellenborg is the name of the port. It's like a small town that you've been to once before. There's various ale houses, as you'd imagine, smiths, armories, practice grounds. There's a port, and they bring in food and supplies and all kinds of things going on here. It's not huge, but it's well travelled, and you know that a lot of important people have passed through here in the past. So it's.
Do we take horses on the stairs?
No.
Or is that a really stupid plan?
No, you don't take horses on the stairs.
So we need to get a shot of these.
They go up. They will not.
When you know though that when you get to the other end where the gates of the moon are, that is like across country as well. So you will need you probably need your horses for the journey to the gates of the moon. But But
we'll head down to the docks.
Okay, cool.
You want to sell these horses before we go?
No, we need them on the other side. We need to take them on the boats. Either that we sell them now and then we buy new ones on the other side. And
we sell the spare, though, huh?
Well, yeah.
It's starting to get late. As I said, it's one of the few planes where it has the day, not only day-night. I mean, a lot of them have day-night, but this also has all the seasons. You are kind of at the beginning of autumn at the moment, so the trees that you pass by are starting to have a little copper and russet shades to them. And there's a little bit of rain in the air, nothing serious, but it's generally raining on the mountainsides, which is where it meets the plain. So you're kind of used to that, you shake it off as you kind of arrive in the town. It's got a wall around it, it's got quite high, but it's a wooden wall. It's quite well reinforced though from the inside. And you can see people on the parapets sort of watching down. But as I said, you've been here before and you're faction members, so you are given quick passage through the gates, and you make your way down to the docks. There are a number of jetties, piers, sort of sticking out into this roiling water, and you can see out into the sea. There are large waves, and it's kind of constantly churning and crashing and moving, and it does indeed look very treacherous. You kind of think, oh God, anyone who goes out here is their job. That's clearly, probably foolhardy, and they probably don't have much of a life expectancy. But there is a someone you recognise, actually, Volker, a Furbolg by the name of Grona, who has made his way to Asgard and is actually interested from a natural point of view of these kind of eddies and currents and shifts around. Although most Furbolg are very land-based, this one is remarkable in the fact that he likes to travel the sea, often saying that he likes to see different shores that he lands upon to see how they differ. But you see this Furbolg on the one of the jetties, and he seems to be talking to a couple of people, maybe crew. And there's a longboat sort of docked up, and as the water is moving, none of the boats are sort of sitting still. They're all kind of moving around. It sort of has this kind of weird rattling, the banging of the wood on the docks. It's kind of this kind of cacophony around you. But you kind of see him, and there's various people moving around, and you are there on the docks.
Hold up, I know someone here. One moment. And I'll jump down off my horse and head over to him. Oh, Gronin.
My friend. It's good to see you again. It has been too many moons since we saw each other last.
Where are you heading?
I've just arrived back, indeed, and I am looking forward to an ale, or perhaps some of that Alfheim mead. That was the last time I saw you, was it not, when we went off to Alfheim?
Alfheim, yes.
Those elves, they did not know what was coming, did they?
They did not.
Who is your strange friend?
Casks. My strange friend, this is Jotun.
When he turns around, when Volker turns around, I look like a nondescript human. I'm still in my normal clothes.
But did you change in view of Gronin?
No.
So earlier on you changed.
Yeah.
So he says,
I tried to do it when Volker wasn't paying attention as we were going.
Who is your nondescript friend there?
This is
some clueless you have travelling around with you.
No, he's clued in. He knows.
Do we fight? Is this fighting?
We're not fighting now.
Oh, not one of these.
No, we've had one of those days, with the fighting and the smiling idiots.
Yes.
You know how it is.
Too much.
Jotun can hold his own. He can throw an axe and.
I can't always throw it the right way, but I can throw it.
Indeed. Well, we've just got back from Jotunheim. and I've discovered these fine berries that are growing, even though there is much ice upon the land. It's very interesting. I've taken some time to explore and not just war, which I
Can
know.
you make the spirit?
I believe so.
Okay, that's all I need to know. It sounds good to me.
Indeed.
Well, let's go. Let's go get an ale.
Ah, yes, I know a good place here, and he kind of points across.
Jotun and me, we are in the market for a good crew to take us to the gates of the moon.
Ah, you're heading over to Saloon's domain, are you?
No, we thought we might try the stairs.
My friend, the stairs. That's what brought me here. Ah, so many moons ago. It's strange that these gates are named such.
But I have never left Asgard, so I think it's time maybe to do a little exploring.
Yes, I mean, I myself am soon to return to the Beastlands and beyond. I have been here too long, and your constant battle, as much fun as it is to watch these people fighting, I've had enough of it, and I seem to have picked up your local accent, and I am keen to be rid of that as well.
You've got to be careful with accents; they can be quite contagious.
I know.
So, come, tell us about these berries and what is going on in Jotunheim.
Ah, well, what else is going on in Jotunheim? They are fighting.
Ah, creative.
The Fenseer are out, and they are openly challenging the petitioners. Great hordes of petitioners are taking down each of these trolls. It is a sight to behold, and on the icy white plains, it is quite a stark. When the red hits it, it is
blood on the snow. You know, sometimes if you get on ice,
and the steam is quite nice, I find.
Blood bounces on ice. I did not know that till I went to Jotun.
That I did not see. I am not a fan of steam, but I have seen it. Yes, that hot blood that leaves a man's body in a rush. It is, yes, it is much fun. Anyway, let me fetch you all an ale. I believe you're about to pay me for a long journey, so I may as well buy you a drink first.
Sounds good to me. But let's skip the ale and go straight to the Alfheim mead, eh?
Ah, this I like. Very well. And he says, I tell you what, let us not go to an alehouse for that. Every petitioner and fool, every clueless and basher will want a sip of it. Come on board my ship. Come to my quarters. I will knock us up a fine drink from these berries, and we shall drink. And tomorrow you will pay me to take you to the gates of the moon.
You know I will.
See, you go on board his ship. It's a massive longboat. And at the prow of it, there's a large dragon figurehead, as with a lot of these boats. But it seems that a lot of work and attention has gone into adding a fine sort of almost like ivy-like tracery of carving around the... Hang on a second. I think Karina's come back. Just bear with me. I just need a short break for a moment. Sorry, everybody. I'm just going to turn the sound off for a second, and I'm going to put the holding screen up for a second. We are now back. Sorry for that little break. My wife got home, so I just wanted to say hello before she went to bed. I thought that would be the decent thing to do. And also,
it definitely wasn't Kevin getting the whiskey out.
No.
No, he wouldn't have paused for that.
Represent. Yeah, good man.
Oh no, I'm running low.
Oh, cool.
I'm keeping it Irish.
Okay. Well, I've got some in the other room that you gave me. So yeah.
I don't know what that particular type is like. Like they do different versions.
I haven't cracked it open because
super tasty.
A lot of my extended family know one thing about me for Christmas and birthday. Pete likes whiskey, bourbon, Irish or Scotch, and basically my birthday is the beginning of February, and so the two things are quite close together. So I have 7 bottles of whiskey in the kitchen that I need to drink. So if we do more of these, maybe I'll get through it.
I've never been much of a whiskey aficionado. We've always had a bit of a family weakness.
I love it.
I fell asleep once, and we'd gone around someone's house and they'd fed me whiskey, and I'd not had it before, and we were watching The Lost Boys, and when I came to, they were actually watching something completely different, and I was really confused.
I bet.
I think they were watching Apocalypse Now, and I couldn't understand why there were no vampires in it.
Yeah.
So wait, is Marlon Brando a vampire? Why is he so fat? This is so confusing.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Anyway, we are in Wellenborg, and you have met with Gronin. He's taken you on board his longboat, and you are chatting with this Furbolg planar, who originates from the Beastlands.
As we're talking to him, I go, well, I guess I can drop this silly disguise now. And I wave my hand in front of my face, and my nose gets slightly longer, and I grow a beard. I'm still the same human.
So you're still not yourself. You're
yeah,
just
and like really over the top wink at Volka, like in a blatant glee, like we're all friends now.
Is it Jotun's beard on the human's face?
Not quite, because I mean, dwarf
that's
beard,
like proper beard.
Yeah, past his waist.
Okay,
but it's pretty epic, like mutton choppy one.
Okay,
a little bit of braid in them.
Cool.
Forgive my friend, he is mad.
I'm perfectly sane for forgiving you.
You're mad, my friend. Let's be honest here. You are quite mad.
It has been said.
But that's appropriate if you are heading to the staircase, as you say you are.
Yeah, there is mad, and then there is mad.
He does
we
some.
live, we die, we live again.
He does some magic in the room. So prestidigitation, and there's a bit of heat metal going on, and there's a rapid combination of magics that allow him to turn this berry into something drinkable.
Sounds like he needs a thunder wave to go with that.
that's as you
It's
do
like,
the shot.
I just crafted this beautiful alcohol for you.
No, as you do the shot, thunder wave.
All your windows.
And he passes out a little bit, and he says, "I have no idea what this will be like or do. So I beg my pardon
of
if
adventure involved in this drinking process.
Indeed.
We don't know what will happen.
Skull.
It's pretty strong."
Blind?
No, he says to you, no.
And then I'm a me normally.
Finally. Here we are.
You don't know.
He grows on you.
I know.
So grown.
Like a good fungus.
Yes, just like a fungus.
Well, he's a furbolg, so he's like, I love a good fungus. Yeah, like it scoops up the worst things. The fungus. It kind of absorbs all of that.
Often edible with interesting.
A handy snack, Easy.
Some of them, you see things that are quite fun. It's good. I like it.
Inside his cabin, there are plants sort of growing up in and around, and there's sort of bits of the floor. He's put raised sort of beds of earth in, and it seems to be he's growing lots of plants in here, and it's It's quite wild. So it's not. There's no kind of runner beans on sticks or that kind of thing. It's like he's just like planted some shit and it's like grown up all around, up to the ceiling, sort of twisting around the rafters and beams of the room and stuff like that. And it's very a natural feel in here. And as you kind of come into when you sort of stepped into his chamber, you did feel a slight change to the atmosphere, like the background radiation shifted a level. Like being in that room is like almost it's very close to another place. It's adjacent to the Beastlands kind of thing. It's just that kind of slight feeling. And he seems happier and just more defined, more of a real figure in front of you when you're in that chamber. Before
chaotic neutral, aren't they?
No, it's chaotic good. It's back that way. Yeah, I mean, this is the furthest chaotic sort of. No, chaotic neutral is limbo, I think. Anyway, yeah. But so you've got Asgard, Arborea, Beastlands. So it's really not. It's quite pleasant in here, to be honest. Quite natural. The people of Asgard are into nature, but in a different way. That rugged alpine nature, rather than the jungle, the forest, all that kind of stuff. So it's a similar feeling, but subtly different. But he offers you this drink, and he says to you, "So, sorry, before I say this, Volker, he's not a faction member." But he says, what business takes you to the gates of the moon and up the staircase?
Well, an excuse to go exploring more than anything.
I need to leave Asgard before the eternal battling drives me crazy. Volker's helping. Because he's a mercenary fuck who wants money off things that we kill. But I'm okay with this. He deserves it.
Well, the last time I saw him, he was either looking for a good woman to whatever, or a good story to tell. I assume it's the second that you're after.
Or a story to tell.
Maybe a dead woman to loot. I don't know.
No. You know me. I want the story. I'm fed up with telling other people's stories.
You want an epic.
The same story over and over. He was a great hero. He fought a great battle. He died. He came to Asgard. He fought more great battles. It's okay. You can keep doing it so much, but
just a couple more verses in between.
The petitioners, they love it. Especially when you tell it about themselves. But I kind of want to have a story where,
you are the great hero.
I am the great hero, or we go somewhere and we see some things that are different.
We do something interesting, not just we killed the man. Look how strong we killed the man.
Yeah, not the same old.
Well, the
elves and giants.
So you're heading to the Infinite Staircase. That the Planeswalkers Guild have taken up camp there ever since they got kicked out of Sigil. I was a member of their association for a while, but the nature of the Planeswalkers Guild is transient itself. So in and out, you aren't. It's kind of fluid.
Yeah, well, I thought we'd go see them, maybe listen around, pick out somewhere that sounds...
They know all the ways.
Yeah, I know. So we pick something that sounds cool and interesting, and then we go for it.
Fighting or not fighting? You're going to Sigil?
I
wouldn't mind seeing Sigil at some point.
Hang on. I think Ben's crashed.
No, I can hear him.
Can you? I can't.
Do you want if you refresh yours, Pete, that might help.
I think the challenge is...
How about now?
No.
Oh, no, you killed Ben. Now I can't see Ben. Everybody do a refresh.
Ben's just got a bed. Yeah, he's just gone to bed.
It says beam. Oh, that's almost a word.
Career fresh too? Aha!
Haha.
There you go.
Fresh.
I thought we were going to have to do a message from our sponsors for a minute there.
Oh, again.
Yeah.
The Thornless
No, a word
Rose.
from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yes, it's
Bubble.
Thornless Rose at the minute, isn't it?
Thornless Rose. Yeah, with their awesome dice trays. It's in the studio. And leather equipment. Anyway.
You always make it sound so kinky, and it really isn't.
It's leather and lasers.
Leather.
Depends on whether you.
That's the tagline. It says leatherworking and lasers, and it's like that's cool. That's cool. Anyway, sorry. Yes, so you're heading to the Planeswalkers Guild.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best place to start, I think.
If you're going to go exploring the planes, you might as well ask people who know how to explore the planes, yeah?
Just, be ready for... They're not always there. Or not all of them are always there all the time at the same time.
I don't necessarily need all of them. I mean,
sure.
You talk to a guy who knows a guy.
Okay. Fair. Anyway.
Is he okay? I asked Volka of his verbal grin.
Gronin.
Is he okay?
He's okay.
Okay.
He's been around.
But you're saying that just in front of him?
Yeah. But
what do you mean?
He literally did just go, they're not all there all the time. When they are there, they're not all there. So I was going... Like crazy people or like vanishing? Probably vanishing.
They're transient. They go off, they journey, they explore. They're not always there all the time.
Jotun, it's the planes, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, clearly you've been on Asgard for too long.
Everywhere is...
Spear and shield.
Everywhere is infinite, but you can walk from one place that is infinite to another place that
they
is
bump
infinite.
into each other. All over the place. Remember...
I heard this scholar once, he said the word coterminus. And, it sounds like a great word. Don't know what it means. I think it means everything on top of everything else, like a sandwich.
Sounds like a bowel
Is this
problem.
like another one of your sex dreams, or?
No.
Coterminus.
Sex sandwich.
Is that when it all happens at the same time?
You don't want to get bread in those places, man. That's yeast infections.
That's not good. That's not good.
My friend. Do we carry the horses on the boat, or do we buy new ones when we get there?
No, you can put the horses on the boat. I like horses.
But, you like horses.
I like
horses.
Bring the
horses.
Yeah.
You want one? We have one going spare.
I'll take a horse.
That's true, yeah.
That'll cover half your...
You take it against the price. So
that'll cover half your fare.
Okay, cool. I like him.
You got
He's a reasonable man.
I mean, the gates of the moon. We've got to head across open ocean, which is pretty dangerous. And when you get close to the gates of the moon, there's a lot of thermal currents. It's quite a tricky journey, so it'll be another 75 gold on top of that to charter the guys, pay for the food, all the stuff that we need to get there and back.
Sure. How about 50 gold and the Saga of Njord to inspire your men to cross the water better?
A new one? Is this about the Well of Erd?
No, not the Well of Erd one. The one with the clean feet.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
Oh, you'll like this one.
60 gold. Okay, let's have a persuasion roll. Yeah, and I'll make a will save opposed to your persuasion roll. I'll let you know, he's got quite a high wisdom score.
That's fine. I really haven't.
Okay, so let's have persuasion. That's charisma though, isn't it?
Yep.
Are you proficient?
Yep. Oh,
okay.
Hang on. Am I proficient?
I bet
no,
you
I'm
are.
not proficient.
You're a bard. How are you not proficient?
I know, but you only got like 3 proficiencies, I think. How many proficiencies?
You get more at... I thought it was level 3, but like further.
He's not up 3. He's a level 3. He's
2 level 2 barbarian.
Yeah.
I haven't even
Barbarian doesn't get persuasion. That's fine. Just roll with your charisma bonus.
Nope. That ain't getting me nowhere.
Well, no, that's your roll. So I am
Yeah.
now going to roll.
But you're not going to get less than that because that's just toilet. It's pretty close.
You've got Jack of all trades, though, don't you? Hang on.
I have.
Which means you get to add
Oh,
half your proficiency
yeah.
bonus to everything.
Wait, no, that's a second level bardic thing. I don't have that.
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're Bard 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bard 1, Barbarian 2.
Bardbarian.
You know, I created a Bard college for Planescape.
Yes, I saw College
Yeah.
of Doors.
Yeah.
It's tempting, but
I was
not quite as tempting as College of Valor.
that was influenced by the He-Man and the Master of the Universe film,
Understand.
where they were playing all the music and they were opening up portals and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and the names of the abilities are like quotes from that film.
That was such a bad film. I knew that was a bad film.
Oh,
even
it's
when
such a bad film, but it's so good. Gwildor is amazing and shit all at the same time.
It's not like Transformers the movie, though, is it?
Oh no.
You
Which is
got
fun.
the touch. You got the power.
Don't sing too much of a licensed song. We'll have to pay royalties.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I think you get 3 seconds or something.
Something or other.
Yeah. Stan Bush.
Stan Bush.
That may
Yeah.
have to actually sound like the tune, so you're probably safe.
Okay. Okay, cool. Right. So, where were we? You were doing... Oh, God.
We were haggling.
You were
we
haggling.
Were not destroying unicorns.
60 gold pieces and a story.
You know what I like you. 60 gold pieces and the story.
Good.
I go in 30. You split it 50-50.
Yeah, we can do that.
You know what? I'll go in 40. You go 20. You're telling the story. Make it fair.
Sure.
That sounds good. Right, well, I'm going to go and sleep. And that means you have to leave my cabin.
Yes, it does.
But it's been nice to talk with you, talk about these things. You know, no doubt we'll talk about the staircase. It's going to take us a few days to get there. So it'll be quite a journey. So just stay, out of the way of everyone. Don't get in the way of the crew. They know what they're doing. They do it forever.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever sailed down the river?
Styx or Oceanus?
Oceanus.
Yes.
Styx is a long way away.
Oh,
But also on top of everything.
yeah. Well, the Oceanus
Yeah,
swirls round the gates of the moon. Certain currents and eddies lead you onto Oceanus, past Arborea, and briefly. And he,
maybe one day we'll go to the Beastlands.
he
It'll
kind
be
of-
exciting.
to say the least, he kind of shepherds you out of the room, and you kind of go off to. There's like a bunk room on the boat. It's a huge longboat, and you go to this bunk room. There's a couple of guys who look very much like the guys who are in the ale house, the mead hall in Gladheim you were at the beginning. Typical Norse guy, human, Scandinavian look, a mixture of chain and fur.
Chain per beard.
Asleep.
Shield,
Yeah,
axe.
exactly. Yeah, but they're asleep, but in their armour. They don't really care. They're going to get up the next day refreshed for battle or for struggle. That's the challenge. That's the whole thing. And for these people, it's these journeys that they take across the gaps between the Earthbergs that's their struggle. So you guys rest. You get all your spell slots and all that kind of stuff back if you've used anything or abilities, and you awake in the morning. And the next few days, unless you want to do anything particularly interesting, all I need you to do is make Constitution saving throws of a DC 15 to not have a level of exhaustion when you get to the other end, because it is a grueling journey. The ocean is swirling and churning. The waves are high. They know what they're doing, and at no point do you really feel like you're in serious mortal danger, but at the same time you are thrown about this way, that way, left and right. Jotun, you have a level of exhaustion. Volker, your one from previous has gone, so you don't have
Nice
that.
fresh salt spray.
Yeah, all of that. There's horizontal rain, there's vertical cliffs of water. Occasionally you see sea serpents and things out in the water. You see other, at one point you see another longboat off in a certain direction. Arrows seem to be firing out from its hull out into the water. You don't know why, and you don't stop to ask. You just keep going on your journey. And after a few days, unless you want to do anything particular on your journey.
No. I would do a ritual, but I haven't actually figured out which rituals I am taking, so I won't do that.
A ritual spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, certain spells.
No, I just haven't figured out which ones I'm taking. I get to take 2, and then any rituals that I come across, I can write down in my secret book of naughty bold things.
And there's my role to inspire the troops with my.
Oh, wicked! Okay, yeah. So you do. You use your inspiration.
I'm going to tell them the story about Njord and the time that the giantess wanted to marry one of the Aesir, and Odin told them that she could only marry by looking at their feet. And she picked the best-looking feet, thinking it was going to be Baldur, but it wasn't. It was Njord because he lived in the sea all the time, so his feet were the cleanest.
Brilliant, brilliant. You can go and meet Njord if you want. He's often seen walking in the shallows, fishing when he's around in his abode. Right, so I'm just getting to the gates of the moon. Here we go. Cool. Okay, so 3 days pass at sea, and after a while, you see the shores of the gates of the moon. This Earthberg. I mean, the gates of the moon are a small area on this Earthberg. You see this Earthberg ahead of you, and it is a tranquil place. Compared to the battle-hungry plains of Asgard, the mainland, but it has this kind of weird moonlight filter across it, and it's kind of a bright calm, even though it's daytime. There is this kind of moonlight feel that seems to add this kind of silvery glow to most things. And it's an interesting realm. Volker, you know that both Thor and Loki have courted Selûne frequently in the past, and come to this land, and it's caused trouble and strife between here and your own home in Asgard. And you find it interesting that the stories that you've heard of these gods going to this land to court and ask acceptance, as it were, from this place is kind of being mirrored by your own journey now, your own saga, which seems to be beginning.
And I'm thinking that my sword is probably somewhat Selûnian in nature.
Yes.
With the whole moon glow thing, so it'd be quite close to the sort of vibe that they've got going on.
If anything, it's probably glowing a little bit more, and just like it's peeking out the top of the scabbard. Normally it's only when you draw it, when you're away from this area, but maybe since you're here, it's glowing. And as the longship arrives at a small village, you see around this rocky island, the ocean has an effervescence, and within it you see, and Jotun, this kind of has a familiarity for you. Large serpentine tentacle-like shapes moving in the depths, and you know that people with a hostile feeling in their heart or an untoward nature towards the gates of the moon will be assailed by these vast sea serpents and kraken in and around the area. The fact that you come on board the ship with the petitioners and Gronin and yourselves there for a journey of peace and exploration and creativity and understanding, you know that you're safe. But you see these things, down in the depths, and this glow, which my tablet is quite good at the moment for, is kind of there and around you. And it's a little bit of sparkly as well. Not too sparkly, but a little bit of sparkly. And off to your left and around like a large headland of this earthberg, you can see a really swirling, almost whirlpool-like area of water, like it's crashing and thrashing, and you see it smashing against the rocks and whole boulders being torn out. And Gronin sort of steps up to you at this point, and the rain is kind of lashing from the other direction. He says, that's where Oceanus meets Asgard. Those areas are dangerous indeed, but if you can get on them and you're a crew of the right mind, then you can find yourself heading elsewhere. And you know that there's these places where infinite realms touch each other, and you can slide sideways from one to the other, and maybe surviving the whirlpool would allow you to make your way down the River Oceanus. But it's kind of, in the moment that you're looking at it, it's gone. And there's kind of like these moments where you can kind of bridge between worlds, but they are quixotic and difficult to get your hands on. So you pull into a small jetty of a small village, and he says, Gronin says to you, the city itself is a day's ride from here. I would take you there, but you can see that the conditions around here are dangerous, to say the least. And this is the least dangerous version of this journey that I'm willing to take. And I think that, my friends, it's been interesting having you aboard, to meet you, Jotun. It has been, I would say, a pleasure, but more probably just an interesting occurrence. And Volker, as always, he looks at sort of.
You're funny. I like you.
The bark that comes out of you makes him so. Even though he's like 9 foot tall, he goes. And this big giant kin hand claps Volker on the shoulder. Volker, that story. You must write it down one day so I can tell it to others. It is, the crew are more than happy to have you aboard anytime, as long as there is another story on your lips that we have not yet heard.
Always more stories. That's one of the reasons I go searching. But it has been a pleasure, my friend. Maybe next time we meet, it will be in a different land.
Perhaps. If you see me in the Beastlands, it will be an interesting occurrence for you. But we will be here for 2 days. If you find yourself in 2 days needing a ship back to Asgard, then feel free. They have worked hard, my crew, and they need rest.
Yeah.
And they do wish to have a fight with someone. So tomorrow they're going to have a fight.
And then the next day, when they come back to life again,
we sail back.
Yeah, those serpents look like they're up for a fight.
They are, and we do not want that.
See, it's just you can't win. That's the problem.
I know. But they guard this land from intrusions from beyond. If you see where
maybe they like a friendly fight too. Maybe they respect.
Hey,
we don't know.
They do down there.
You don't know till you kill one.
Well, then you are a greater warrior than I if you kill one. But they fight down there. They wrestle, they jostle. You can see them, and he kind of points down, and through the effervescent, kind of silvery, sparkly water around the gates of the moon, you can see these coiling shapes moving and twisting and turning. To everyone apart from Jotun, it is quite disturbing. To Jotun, it is strangely familiar. And he says, "Here we are." And the ship pulls up, and one of the petitioners ties the rope around the stump on the jetty, and the ship is moored up. And it's not a very big village, as you can see, and your horses are there and ready. They've been actually very well fed, and Gronan has taken some of the fruits from the plants and vines that are growing in his cabin and fed that to your horses, because he seems to care more about animals than he does people. But he finds the overflowing, exuberant nature of the oceans of Asgard just fascinating. The currents, the movements, the life within it. There's even these serpents beneath you. He seems to have a smile on his face. All the life around him seems to make him excited.
Well, it has been a pleasure, my friends. But now we must continue. Come,
We do
Milton.
have things to find.
Let's find these stairs. Although we may have to speak to some priests of Saloon, so maybe do your best to never say anything.
I can definitely do that.
And be careful of the Lelendi. You guys know about the Lelendi. They
are winged serpent
half serpent women who guard. They are kind of celestial creatures who guard the foot of the infinite staircase, and they also know some of the information on which landings lead where and which paths to take. And one thing that you do know is that the location of the Planeswalkers Guild is fairly concrete. It rarely changes so often as it travelled, and they have information about that journey, but they're not to be fucked around with.
No.
Yeah, cool. So there is Saloon's Hall of Silver is called Argental, one of the two.
Clever name, that.
And this is where nearby the staircase begins, and the staircase leads, they say, to every city in the multiverse, because it's only when you have a large collection of people together that culture blossoms and artistic creation then blooms, and then you have these pockets of people who are pushing creative boundaries, and that draws the infinite staircase to kind of tie in to it. So that's what the information you kind of know about the infinite staircase is. Like, it's a massive thing, figuratively and literally, but not at the same time. And you do have some information about it.
So, Jotun, you want to go to the stair today and get straight on, or should we rest up, find a place to stay, and then go in the morning?
I'm eager to go, but I'm quite tired after that journey. I didn't sleep well on the boat. I think it was the time that I got flung bodily out of my bed and hit my face on the wall. Something about that it didn't make for restful sleep.
You think?
Yeah, I think
I must admit, being punched in the face does not help me sleep either.
being punched in the face by a wall, it's not great. So I wouldn't mind a little bit of rest.
Well, let's find a place to stay.
Yeah.
Tavern, inn, hostelry, one of these things.
This is Asgard. One thing that there's plenty of is taverns, inns, and hostelries. So it's not hard for you to find a place to rest.
A nice, quiet one.
That's much harder.
All of a sudden, it's impossible.
So actually, here on the Gates of the Moon, there's less of the constant battle. So here you have a bit of peace.
Reflective Vikings.
Reflective, creative. Here they are carving, singing. There's poetry. There's a lot of craftsmanship going on. It's very creative, and you know that the infinite staircase is drawn to creativity. So you know that this going on here is kind of why that is drawn there. So I'm just trying to get up the the Twitch feed. My phone needed charging, just in case anyone has any Roll20 advice for us. Here we go. We still have a viewer on Twitch and 2 viewers on YouTube, and it's midnight. Cool. Okay, which is 6:30 in Central Time, which is where a lot of our fans in America are based. So hopefully they'll pick this up later. Anyway, you find an ale house with a common room that allows you to bunk down, and you find yourself surrounded by a small conclave of artists, and they are mostly concerned with sculpture, and 3 of them seem to have brought with them wheels for clay, which is quite an undertaking, and the 4th is carving wooden sort of small trunks, like not a sapling, but once a tree starts to grow, they seem to have a few of these. They're sort of carrying them around, and one of them has been turned into some kind of a almost totem pole style carving, like a tall carving with different creatures up it, kind of thing. And they seem to be the other residents in this common room, and they're all kind of working away and doing different things. One of the sculptures seems to be quite abstract and mostly forms that seem to be about flight and wings and things, but not in any kind of associated way, whereas another one is literally making little statues of warriors kind of thing, so there's the various different things going on. They all seem to be
on the way in, before we go all the way into the town.
Sure.
Looking around at these kind of artists and whatever, is there the equivalent of someone who's doing like portraiture, like not quite the charcoal sketch artist that you would see in a seaside town, like something kind of
there,
or is it all sculpting?
Yeah, no. That's in the tavern that you stay in. Those sculptors. But outside, there are artists of different mediums as well. It's not just a town of artists, but there are these people, and you do see someone who is painting.
Okay.
Yeah, they're painting on kind of slate sheets, though, so it's kind of a weird combination. But yes, there is painting. It seems to be painting the view, the out across the fjords, and it's trying to capture the effervescence of the oceans as you approach.
I'm gonna log that for later. I'm gonna come back to another date. I think I was gonna play a dirty trick, but I don't think I will.
You can play a dirty trick if you want to.
I can commission a portrait of myself, but I think we all know where that's gonna go. Anyway,
just standard average human being.
No. I was gonna just move features slightly.
Slowly,
every time you look down, like my eye moves slightly.
Are you trying to invent Picasso?
Yes, essentially, yeah. But
cool.
Slowly over time, without them realizing that they're erasing the thing and moving it, they're like,
very cool.
Let's just go.
Just putting some more. Okay, so you are in this alehouse and everyone's bunking down for the evening. These artists are there. They seem to have travel packs. They don't seem to be resident.
They all know about this place, though.
Yes. And they're kind of working away in the common room, and you guys are there with some ales and things, and the night comes. If you want it to pass without event, that's fine. There's no kind of impending horde of petitioners wanting to wrestle you to the ground.
Do you want to start any fights or anything, Volker?
No, not
Okay.
a fight.
Okay, cool. So you rest. You recover 1 level of exhaustion. You heal your hit points. You get your spell points back. All spell slots. Sorry, all that stuff.
I prefer to finish fights, not start them.
Nice.
Often you need to do one then the other, but around here fights find you anyway. So it's
But it's nice to sit in a tavern and not have to worry about which person we're going to fight and who has to fight them. And
I'm enjoying watching this man making the tiny men. It's quite cool.
Cool. Okay.
I worried that maybe they would get damaged. Maybe he should put them in some kind of like clear box or something with maybe like a sheet around them to explain what they are.
And paint them, perhaps. They're quite not.
I like the way these figures have sort of a sense of action about them.
Yeah, he's building little hinges into the arms.
And there's a little lever on the back. If you click it, his arm goes like this.
Yeah. New karate chop action. Cool. So the night passes, and in the morning, you feel fresh. You feel ready, and you get your horses together. It's not a very busy area. You think that Gronin probably docked here because the way he was charting the waters on the way here, he felt this is the safest place to go, not necessarily the biggest.
This
But
is kind of freaking me out a little bit. Nobody's tried to punch me in days.
Yeah, I'm not used to this at all. It's
Very strange.
You want to go punch someone and see what happens?
No. Let's just go. And, we can. I don't know. Maybe get punched by demons or something.
I mean, I foresee plenty of violence in our future. I don't think we're going to the land of milk and honey.
No.
okay.
Let's go and see what we can find. Let's find these stairs.
So you get on your horses and you head across country, and once again you find yourself trotting along the side of fjords, mountains, pathways, tracks, deer tracks, that kind of thing. It's beautiful, stark countryside. It's not quite tundra. It's arboreal, rugged terrain. Heather is thick on the ground, and there's not a lot of overt wildlife. It's all sort of small mammals, birds, that kind of thing. There's no kind of, you see the odd deer here and there, but it's not sort of a lot going on here. It seems to be less boars and dire creatures.
No wild boar, no giant stags.
There's more of that on Asgard, and less here on Gates of the Moon. So you make your way across country, and after a while, you find yourselves approaching. Here we go. Argental. How do I pronounce it, Ben?
However you like, mate.
Argental.
Argental works.
A shining hall of silver ahead of you, and you can see, if you look in the top left of the screen there, you can see this kind of tall hall there. That's the hole of the Earthberg. And this is where the goddess of moon and stars from Faerun Toril resides, as well as Soma, and various other deities. And as you get closer, you can see that to one side there is a large area there seems to be some sort of strange distortion in the air above the kind of innards of this city. There's a lower wall. It's not as big and as compensating as the Asgard wall. It's kind of a lower, more sleek, thinner wall, but still it's there. And within it, you can see the silver hall of Argental, and various buildings and structures within. And then to one side, there's this kind of shimmering, strange distortion in the air. Because remember, we're not talking about an actual staircase in this realm, but one that begins here and maybe distorts the plane around it. So you've been kind of told what to expect when you arrive, and you are allowed passage into the city. You have Thorhilda gave you documentation from the faction as to why you need to be here. And you make your way through the gates of the Moon.
The gates of the gates.
The gates of the Moon. And into this large expanse. And to one side, you can now see, as the strange iridescence of moonlight around you, the beginnings of a gargantuan staircase. One set of massive, they look like marble stairs, very white. You think maybe with sort of veins of grey, but from its distance it looks quite pure. But you can only see sort of like the first 12 steps, and beyond that there seems to be a strange haze that you can't quite focus on. Your eyes betray you and you can't quite look at it directly. In your peripheral vision, you swear you can see up to like the 20th flight of steps, but when you look at it, there's this kind of odd haze. And around there's a large collection of buildings and a large number of people, as it's well known and it's well travelled. It is not something that is secret. But you can see moving about in the air around there the Lelendi, sorry. Lelend is singular, Lelendi is plural, and these are the celestial creatures that have a serpentine body from the waist down, and they have eagle-like wings, and they move about in the air, and they are ordering people around, pointing them in different directions. Obviously, some people they see fit do not need to traverse the infinite staircase and are turned away. Some are allowed in and move up. They seem to have conversations with some people, pause with others, not with others. There's a lot of activity going on. And there's this whole city, Gates of the Moon going on. There's big halls, there's activity going on, there's people moving about, there's a lot of priests. And you make your way towards this area. And as you do, one of these Lelendi, a Lelend, heads in your direction, sensing your intent, knowing that you are heading towards the infinite staircase. And this creature appears before you, and it is radiant. There is no doubt about it that this creature is beautiful, but in a strangely asexual way. It's not like not like a kind of charm, kind of seductive thing. There's just like this kind of symmetry to the features, to the body. It's wearing armor on the upper body. There's just the serpentine tail with feathers at the end for the lower half, and then large feathered wings. Very colourful. Green, bright green and yellow on the tail. There's a spark of red in the feathers, and the wings are high. They're wearing a helmet, again with wings on, and this creature comes before you.
As we see it approaching, and I turn to Vulcan and go, do we want the help of this thing?
We do not want to piss this off.
But can we say we're okay?
I think they're going to want to be like, yeah, what do you want? So
Okay.
We don't really have much choice.
Halt visitor.
We should stop.
We halt.
Yeah. They're quite it seems quite matter of fact. You approach the infinite.
Interrupted. Fire in cryogenic compartment.
I am now authorized to use physical force.
Do you approach the infinite staircase?
We do.
We do.
What intent do you have? What is your purpose?
We seek the Planeswalkers Guild. We come on business.
I seek knowledge.
For the fated.
You seek knowledge, dwarf.
Yes.
Interesting. You, she says, looking at Volker. What evidence do you have of business.
I have papers.
Doesn't seem to like the word business.
I have papers.
A very fine boned hand reaches down. These creatures are quite large, though, so kind of twice the size of a normal human being. So this hand is quite large that comes down to you, and she takes the papers from you and opens it up in her palm and looks at it. Very well. It seems that the fated wish to journey the staircase. We are not ones to block them. We have an agreement and an understanding. You seek the Planeswalkers Guild. I will be able to provide you with an illustration of how to reach them.
That would be most kind.
I would say map, but that would not be accurate.
My lady, what advice would you give for us? We are new travelers to the stairs. We are brave men. We are bold. We seek adventure and knowledge and discovery. But we are no fools. So you are wise in these ways.
I would suggest that you focus purely on your goal and nothing else. The staircase is a way of showing you things that you did not know you wanted to find. It is creativity itself, binding all locations of inspiration together, whether they be good or dark. We govern here, and that's all we can do.
My eyes kind of slide off her and into the distance.
Do not travel the staircase alone. That is when you are at most risk.
Yes. No, not alone.
Thank you for your words, lady. You are most gracious and kind.
Here, and she pulls, on her side, she's got a satchel. It's kind of across, strap across her body. And she pulls it, and there seem to be like 20 of the same little scroll bound up. And she pulls it out and gives it to you. This will allow you to reach the Planeswalkers Guild largely untroubled. I would be careful. There are creative folk who have found their way into the staircase, and they are not all of the same persuasion as yourselves, or they may be the same as your friend here, she says, looking at Jotun.
I'm still staring off into space a little bit.
Lady, might I know your name, so that when it comes to tell the tale of this place, you will be... I'm
afraid I cannot share my name with you.
I understand.
To know my true name, but to hold too much power over me.
Is there a name by which you would like to be known?
Meta.
Then I shall be sure to speak of you kindly when I speak the tale of this place.
Thank you, Skald. She says that not as your name.
As your title.
As your title. Very well. Then I would suggest that you make your way on the staircase now and carefully. And may I suggest that you do not let your dwarf friend wander off on his own.
I will keep an eye on him. Maybe 2 eyes.
That might be good. 1 eye on the staircase at all times. Yes. And I would advise you, be careful. Sometimes up and down may switch. Left and right may switch. Keep your wits about you. Watch out for the blue column.
Dude.
Watch out for the blue pillars. They are to be ignored, but they are interesting. If you see other folk fall from the staircase, do not attempt to save them. You will but purely fall into the void yourself, for there is nothing between the stairs. literally nothing, and you will never be seen again.
Thank you for your words.
You have a 6-hour walk ahead of you, up a flight of stairs. I hope your calves are strong.
I have sinews of iron. Let us make a start.
I wish I could say the same, but I mean, I'll follow you. I got a lot of determination, which is pretty good usually.
That is the first step on the staircase.
Is she actually pointing to a step, or is she talking about determination?
No, she's pointing at you when you say determination. No, she's like, that.
I'm a step. Oh, you mean I'm not.
She nods and flies away. She just
metaphor.
She's just like flies
I'll
away.
be okay here. I'm very literal.
Oh wait, we need to sell our horses.
Come on, Volker. I am the first step. We'll be fine.
Okay, first step. Let's sell the horses and then go.
Okay. So you're going to sell your horses off?
I imagine they probably have like a horse market nearby.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is they're probably like buying them ridiculously cheap.
Oh yeah, they're going to rip us off outrageously.
Yeah. So you get 10 gold for your horses.
They're worth 7 times.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
Like as you're standing there, 12 people in front of you sell their horses to a guy with too many horses.
Oh no. You know what?
I was going to sell them to your bugbear friend. You said no.
Bugbear.
He really fucking likes horses.
He likes horses, but he's not a bugbear.
He's a
whatever. He's hairy, you know. Same shit.
Maybe we should have left them with him, but you know, we are where we are. We needed them to ride to the city.
This is true.
I mean, I have legs.
You have stubby little legs.
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't even be on a horse. It's kind of against our religion or something. I forget.
And I know you're big for your own people, but you're still tiny for me.
This is true. I'm tiny for most.
Okay, so you guys start your way up the infinite staircase. So you start to take your first steps up those first. You can kind of see sort of 100 feet ahead at any one time. And as you start up those initial stairs, they do indeed seem, it's broad. They are deep steps, you know, they're built for lots of people to move up them, and they seem to be marble with thin grey veins between them. But as you move up them, and once you sort of take 10, 20, 30 steps, they seem to sort of become this kind of strange immaterial grey. You can't tell what they're made out of, and they seem to be fairly uniform right now. And you're sort of moving up. It's probably about 50 feet wide. It's really broad. And as you, after a few minutes, around you, you start to get, it's not tunnel vision, but you get that kind of feeling where your peripheral vision is kind of falling in because everything's getting dark and there's a kind of void outside of this staircase. And already you can see other staircases, one of which is moving at 90 degrees to you over to your right, and you can see people walking along it who are at a completely different angle to you. You're walking up like this, they're walking along like this already, and in fact to your left as you go you can see a staircase heading down. You start to realize that although this is the start of the infinite staircase, it's not literally the start. This is one tether, this is one anchor point of it, the main one, but it spreads out in all directions from here. And quite quickly over the next couple of hours, you come across various landings and offshoot staircases that head in different directions and have a different feel to them. Some of them the stairs look more rocky. In other areas, you swear that those stairs are made out of skin or flesh. Over here, there's a smell of sulfur at that staircase, and as you're going along, all of these things start to offshoot or head down, up, left, right. You've got this kind of labyrinth, but more spread out kind of feeling to this staircase. And
I absolutely have David Bowie's voice in my head right now.
Absolutely.
And all the time, the worst part.
If only I could spin sort of orbs on my fingers right now, then that would be
That
fantastic.
wasn't David Bowie. That was Michael Motion standing behind him, sticking his arm
through his armpit, doing that. But hey, there are goblins everywhere. No,
the infinite void of nothingness is made of goblins.
Oh!
There we go.
There's some dice going on there.
That's the best I can do. They're not very.
I was going to get an orange, but it's probably not
Yeah.
as aesthetically pleasing. So you spend the next 6 hours traveling up the infinite staircase. There are various offshoots as you go, but eventually
I told you, lava.
you've had this kind of
Holy shit, are those stairs made of magma?
there are some.
Point off to one side.
At one point you pass through an area where there are strange blue columns around the staircase, not attached to the staircase, literally in the void, and they have neither a start or an end, a top or a bottom. They just seem to sort of extend up past the part of the stairs that you're walking through, and you can see
Fuck off, blue columns.
You can see on them that they're intricately carved, and Jotun, there are strange tentacle-shaped carvings and runes that seem to be very interesting to you. And Volker, you see that there seems to be stories carved into the other one, like a great epic, like written. However, the two of you together make your way past as the Lilend told you.
As Volker is kind of helping me to drag myself away, the runes and weird shit that I saw is kind of going across my forehead in wheels.
Cool.
Like raised, like when you're painful almost.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah. Like not like it had been burned, but like someone had hit me with something in this shape.
Like an impression. Yeah.
Come and then go and then.
I'm very glad I was polite to the snake lady.
And you can't. Volker,
nice.
you can't quite read what's written on those columns. If you could lean out maybe just a few feet more, you might be able to read it. But she told you to ignore these blue columns. So you
ignore the blue column.
You make your way up the staircase, and eventually you arrive on a large platform, on a large landing. And here there is a tent, not city, but a tent village, a large number of tents sort of built up and around. And there are various staircases going off around in different directions. And you can see some of them have sort of ivy twisting around them. Some of them seem to be made of iron and various other things. And you are kind of like, this is absolutely fascinating space. There's all kinds of things going on. There's all this tent village. And as you're standing there, a large minotaur steps up in front of you and says, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And we'll end there. Cool. Okay. Right.
Not him!
I think... Don't nut a minotaur. I think it's 1 a.m. I think we should probably finish there.
That's a plan.
But I think that was a lot of fun. And I like your characters a lot. I think we may have to do more than 2 adventures.
I have no idea where those accents came from, but wherever they came from, they work.
Hey, it's cool. That's what it's all about.
I would have went more Norse if I was able, but I'm not able, so I went weird.
Hey, Russian gangster words.
Yeah.
No, you've got that little Scandi Finnish touch.
So long as we got someone there doing something Norse, something Scandinavian.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, thank you. Fun. It was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And as I enjoyed Roll20, I enjoyed the dice rolling, even though it's not rolling actual dice. I didn't activate the 3D dice on the screen. I should do that next time.
I'm waiting for you to introduce the whole blacked out screens with like moving lights and. Have you not seen some of the additional features?
I know. I've got loads to learn about Roll20.
Crazy stuff.
So, a lot of those massive additional features require you to spend money.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But the Patreon could help us out with that. I'm actually going to shut down my website because that's £50 that I can't afford. And I'm not really using it as I should, so maybe I can divert some of that into some of this online gaming. I'd like to do this a bit more with you guys because I think actually now we've started this little Planescape story, I want to keep doing it. That's always the danger of these things. This is always the problem.
That is the danger. Yeah. I got to say. Well, where are we going with this? What's this all about?
I've got the idea. I've got the plan for the next 3-hour episode, because the next one will actually be all adventure, because this one I knew was going to be half an hour at the beginning, 45 minutes where it's we're figuring things out and I'm talking about Planescape and all that kind of stuff. So the next one is Planeswalker's Guild, where are you going, astral plane.
Next one is starting with a Minotaur. Certainly in the gonads.
Yeah. Remember, these are the people you have to be friends with.
We don't know that.
No, you literally do. You literally do. You were told these are the guys you need to talk to, not fight.
We were told that the Minotaur.
But you come from Asgard. Yeah. Anyway, I see your cunning thoughts there. Anyway, thank you everyone who joined us live. I think we had over 10 people watching us at one point, which is cool. That's considering we this is kind of fairly short-term thing. Hopefully we'll build this up a bit more. We'll do a bit more YouTube Live and Twitch so that you guys can see what Garblag Games has to offer, and also I can keep playing games with Ben and Kevin because it's, Siegbert has been missed and Gunter has been missed, but maybe we can do something about that. Anyway, right, let's round it up. So that was cool. I love Planescape. As you can tell, I very much enjoy it, and I'm trying to kind of give you guys watching an idea of the cosmos. If you want to hear more about it, I think I'm going to do some separate episodes, separate broadcasts, which are about Planescape and the planes. I know there's lots of videos out there already, but also it'd be useful for my players to see how I think it works and how I want it to work in my campaign. We're going to be doing a studio show as well. It's quite cool that I get to say that. Where we film all of our other shows. This is our first online show, by the way. All our other shows, we're going to be having a in-studio show for D&D Planescape 5th edition.
Oh, that's the point, Kev. We forgot to place all the nail bombs in the places where the other characters are going to come.
That's next episode.
That will come.
That's next episode.
We're going to place the nail bombs in the Minotaur. So when they arrive.
In the Minotaur.
What are you doing? Boom!
Nice. So
one for each knee.
How are there 3?
Anyway. One for each knee. I didn't say 3.
You did that, didn't you? Anyway.
No, I said one for each knee.
Oh, okay. Okay.
These aren't the knees you're looking for.
So these guys can head off and go to bed. Please don't forget to go and check out Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our Discord, our Patreon. Please consider supporting the channel. The more people who support us, the more videos we can do, the more stuff we can give to you guys, the more experience.
That by adding this me thing that you put in the other day, it's just a me-we.
Yeah.
Well, me might we in a minute. But it's just another level of social media for you to have to conquer.
Look, Google Plus has gone away, so I'm doing MeWe instead. So we're on MeWe now as well. We have Redbubble, Drive-Thru-RPG, all that stuff. Please go check it all out. If you just go to one of these places and put in Garblag Games, you will find us because no one else has any stupid name like Garblag Games. Please check out our other shows. over on YouTube. So go over to YouTube, check out the channel. Please subscribe. We've got loads of stuff on there. These guys are on there as well.
Subscribe and press the little bell thing so that you don't get notifications.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, you need to start pre-notifying people about the Comic-Con, St. Albans Comic-Con.
Absolutely. Good point, Ben. We're going to St. Albans Comic-Con and we've got 6 tables and we're going to be doing some role-playing games, some war games. I think we've secured someone to run a Marvel skirmish game, the Marvel miniatures game. Because it's Comic-Con with superheroes, we thought superhero skirmish game would be cool. Drop-in game, you get a superhero, you come along, you're Batman. Go for it. That kind of thing. I'm running the Great and Glorious Gulag of Garblag, which is a massive D&D dungeon, and I'm going to have a stack of characters, first level characters. Basically, you turn up, you get a character, he gets teleported in by the evil wizard Garblag to fight and survive through the dungeon. If you die, you get the next character sheet, and that character gets teleported in, and you have to fight and survive your way through the dungeon. It's a drop-in game. It's that kind of thing. It's it's fun. It's silly. It's that kind of stuff. So, if you are in the UK and anywhere near St Albans in Hertfordshire, then feel free to come down. It's going to be at the Alban Arena on the 14th of July, and I'm really looking forward to it. It could be the start of something a bit different if we run a successful convention there and they want us back. If people come and tell them we were great and they want us back, then we might come back and we might eventually do something of our own one day in the far future. Yes, go and check out the Thornless Rose on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're friends of the channel. We are going to be doing some deals with them, some discount codes in the future for their Etsy store and their Redbubble. And they do dice rolling trays made of leather, D20 dice bags. They're about to do a Kickstarter for these like big leather D20s. Really cool, really good stuff. Yeah, there's just loads of stuff going on. Come check out the channel. We've got a Facebook group. We've got all kinds of things. And yeah, we'll see you next time for some more the awesome adventures of Bardbarian and Dwarlock. So thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye.
Goodbye.